What's up, Giants fans, Hope watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's
Oh,
Kush
damn.
back at it again with another episode of the Just Chillin' podcast. Of course, here with my co-host Kid Blue as well. Shout out to people in the chat right now. We got the Rand, Arthur, Yuvraj, LGZ, aka Logan. Guys, as you're coming in, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button if you are not subscribed to either May or KB. And of course, share it out. We've been getting good engagement since the draft. I expect it to calm down as it usually does around this time of the year as the draft is over. But let's try and keep most of the new people that checked out the channel over the past week or so. So make sure you do put this out there with a share. KB, what's up, man? How you doing? Let the people know about your nap and what's going on.
Well, yeah, guys. Yeah, you said my nap.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was great, man. I just told Kush beforehand. It might take me a little while to recuperate because I just took a nap. It was hot as hell outside, and as soon as I came home, when you get under that AC, man, just feels so good. And I cooked real quick, cooked some tacos.
What'd you
Taco
make? What
Wednesday.
kind? Well, it's
Just,
Tuesday,
just
but like I don't know if we could forgive you for
oh, it
that.
is Tuesday. No, it is Tuesday.
No, it's
No,
called Taco
it's
Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Nobody
Yeah,
says Taco Wednesday.
it's Taco Wednesday, man, because Tuesday just we didn't have tacos. But yeah, just regular ground beef tacos, man. But with some cheese on there and some sauce. But um, yeah, it might take me a little while to recuperate, guys. So bear with me if I say some nonsense. It's just because I'm still out of it a little bit. But we are here for the show first podcast since the draft. We have a lot to talk about, and there was some news that Kush sent me today from State Orpleton.
That is
And
basically the main news because that's been all over Giants Twitter since 4:30. I think is when it really kind of went onto
yeah,
Giants Twitter.
yeah, and so we're actually getting answers from the long-awaited question from the since the beginning of the off season. So, yeah, we got a lot to get into, man. We do.
I see Super Taj Edward in here as well. John Doe, what's up, y'all? How you doing? The heavyweight champion of the world. Woo! What's up, Mr. Ric Flair in the building? But it all depends, We could save the Bradberry one for the main event since it is the main topic, or we could address it now. It's up to you. It would give me a little bit more time to kind of scroll and get some more quotes there. You know what? So yeah, let's save that for later. And let me get your thoughts on the Chris Pettit. On Monday, he was let go. Not necessarily a surprise, but the Giants in total, I feel like let go of 4 people in total from like sort of the Dave Gettleman regime, quote unquote. But Pettit's been here before, but obviously he was the director of college scouting for the Giants up until he was released on Monday. A big release. There's a lot of rumors going around about why he was released. There's the conspiracy theories that, he was a leaking informant, a guy that was leaking information to the media. I don't necessarily buy it. It would be kind of funny if it was. I think he was just released because he wasn't good at his new job. But go ahead, give your complete thoughts, and I'll work on getting some new quotes out here.
I think this is a really good breath of fresh air because although we can have all the new regimes that we want. If you look at the type of players the Giants have drafted over the past couple of years, they've kind of been very relatively similar. And so I guess that Chris Pettit plays a huge part in that. So I'm really anxious to see next season how the college scouting goes because remember Joe Shane's scouts and stuff like that were the scouts from before Chris Pettit, all these other guys out there. He really hasn't used his own guys to do the scouting, and so now this gives him the opportunity to do that. And so it's like it's gonna be the most I guess refreshing for the Giants and Giants fans and the Giants media and the Giants franchise since forever, right? Because like I said, we can have all the new regimes that we want, but we have the same college scouts, especially the director of college scouting. We're gonna be drafting this kind of like the same
And
similar type
we
of
said
players.
this when Joe Shane was hired, right? I was like, I'm glad about the hire, but nothing is going to change unless we change like everything about the scouting
Yeah,
department and then
yeah,
everything about the medical office. Those were my 2 first things. Like, get the medical office situated. I still feel like we need to fire Ronnie Barnes. I know he's a respected doctor around the league, but listen, the fact of the matter is, our players are consistently injured. Our players are
right.
always off the field. And
Yep.
he's the head of that. So, get some new medical staff in here, and it looks like we're going to get some new scouting guys in here as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that because, like I said, we're probably gonna see a whole new type of sort of philosophy of, you know, players being drafted, as things go. I know ultimately Joe Shane's makes the decisions, but when they, make their boards, they scout their players. It's totally different when you have, different guys doing it. So I want to see Joe Shane's guys out there kind of, go through have them have all the same mindset. I'm sorry if you guys hear my dogs in the background, But yeah, have the same mindset and things, and hopefully the scouting is different. Hopefully, the type of players being drafted is going to be different.
And go ahead with the Chris Pettit on how you felt about him over the past 4 to 5 years. Technically, he's been director of college scouting. What do you think he's done? How do you think he's done his job? So essentially, you could evaluate the 2018 draft class, how many players we've retained from there. You could evaluate the 2019 one, how many players we've retained for there. You could leave 2020 and 2021 for now if you think it's too early, but go ahead.
Well, this goes back for years. How many players have we really retained ever? Like, go back to 2014, go back to 2015, 16, 17, 18. The list goes on and on. We don't retain draft picks like that. We always bring in veterans because our draft picks never work out in the long run. And especially our early round picks. We hit a couple out of the park like Odell, right? We could hit Odell at the park, and but besides Odell in the first round, who was really a slam dunk pick in the first round over the past couple of years. Not excluding, of course, the more recent drafts. Andrew Thomas. It was great and everything like that. But everybody else were kind of like, Dexter Lawrence was great and all that stuff. But this goes back for years. It's not even just recently. Chris Pettit has been part of the organization for how long? 20 years. And I don't
No, since 2005.
since 2005. That's approaching 20 years right there.
Approaching, yeah. I think it was
Yeah.
2005, 2006. He started from the bottom. I had to see this. I had to say it in my video, like kind of covering his firing, because I'm like, a lot of Giants fans are making it out to seem like he was worse than he is, and he was pretty bad towards the end of his career, right? Just like how Jerry Reese was pretty bad towards the end of his GM career. But they got there, they earned their spot there. I think he worked his way up from an intern to an area scout, and then to when Gettleman got here, who he's director of college scouting. Of course, like I said, towards the end of his career with the Giants, he was bad. And if you look at over the entire tenure, you're like, there's more misses than hits. Obviously, you look at 2018, Saquon is the only player still here from the 2018 draft class. And that honestly shouldn't be the way it is. Like, we should still have BJ Hill. And I know, yes, keeping 2 players from a draft class isn't like the best, but I think it would be 2 out of 6. I would have taken that. 2019 is far worse. There's only 5 out of the 9 players or 10 players that we drafted in 2019, and then more of those guys I'm 100% sure are going to be gone after this season and whatnot. And then, of course, like I said, 2020 is a little too early to look at. 2021 a little too early to look at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I'm excited about this whole new change. So I hope we're able to retain draft picks, because obviously we all know this is common knowledge. The best way to build a franchise and maintain a strong franchise is through the draft at all times. Use free agency to fill in your holes that you need desperately filled at a certain position. But ideally, you want draft picks to run your team. You know what I'm saying? These
Hmm.
younger guys to run your team and use them to their best, their ability, with as young as they are. And yeah, that's how it should go. And that's why, it's no coincidence. That's why this has been a losing franchise for so long. We haven't been able to not only, develop these draft picks correctly, but even if they are somewhat good, or even if they're terrible, we don't even retain them. We don't retain them because they're not good enough, or whatever the case may be, injuries, whatever the case is. And that's another thing too. We draft a lot of injury-prone players. We do. So hopefully that changes. So I
Hmm.
don't want that to keep happening. We draft a lot of injury-prone players, especially in the earlier rounds. So um, I just hope that doesn't keep going. But yeah.
By the way, I see J.K. King. I saw that comment, and I'm gonna get to it when we get to James Bradberry. But shout out to you, shout out to Hazelnut in here as well, Mister. I think that says Fahrenheit, Super Taj World, and I think in terms of the chat, those are the new people that are in there. What do you think? Just kind of a quick evaluation, kind of putting you on the spot here.
Mhm.
But you looking back at the 2018 draft class, you're looking at the fact that we have only Saquon left, and there's a very good chance we're gonna have 0 people left after this year. So essentially, our draft class doesn't survive from 2018. How do you look at it then? It has to be seen as a failure, no? What do you think?
2018, the
Yeah,
2018 draft? At
yeah.
this point, it is. The 2018 draft, of course it is. I mean, I hate saying this because, hindsight's always 2020. And like I said, when we can go back and forth about the 2018 draft all we want with Saquon, I thought at the time it was the right pick. I know it's way higher to draft the running back, but at the time, I felt like he was the best player available. Quentin Nelson was the better pick, and that definitely would have took us, the distance, honestly, as far as the offensive line goes, and it would have carried that 2018 draft. But it was a failure from the start. I mean, we were doomed from the start when we draft a running back that high. And if that running back works, then maybe this wouldn't be as bad if that running back works. And Saquon did work in his rookie season, but injuries took a huge toll on that. And it's not like the Giants could have predicted he was gonna get hurt that frequently. But when you're dealing with a freak of nature like him, he might, his body might not be able to hold up as much. But as far as the 2018 draft goes as a whole, yeah, it's a failure.
Hmm.
We let go of BJ Hill. He was the only productive player we drafted after Saquon Barkley, and we let him go. Lorenzo Carter was a developmental pass rusher, speed
That
rusher
never developed.
that never developed. And even when he did have his moment, his 15 minutes of fame, he got hurt for the whole season. So he wasn't able to produce.
And
You
then,
can go
of
down the
course, the
list.
question does come up, and this is just like basically everything we discuss with the Giants and the NFL in general. A lot of it also has to do with coaching. I'm sure we could both agree on that. The draft class was a failure. Part of that is because we just did not have the right coaches or the guys doing the correct job to help these guys develop. Like we just talked about Lorenzo. Will Hernandez only went down after his rookie year and stuff like that.
Yeah. And someone said 2019 was even worse. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
we'll
I
have to
was just
go
about to
into it.
ask you, how would you respond to that? Do you agree with it and whatnot?
Well, I'll have to go back. My mind is still freaking. I have to go back. So we have DJ, we've got Dexter,
Dexter,
we've got
DeAndre.
DeAndre, and then McKinney.
No, that's 2020.
That's
After
2020.
DeAndre Baker in
It
the
was
third round, we
Baker.
drafted Matt Pert
Oh,
because
we
our
drafted
second round
third
pick
round.
was
Oh
used to trade up.
yeah. I remember
Matt
that year.
Pert, then
Okay, Peart, and
Darnay
then
Holmes, then Julian
Darnay.
Love. Oh yeah, then
I
Julian
think it was
Love.
Julian Love, and then Ryan Connolly.
No, then Julian Love, then Shane Lemieux, then Ryan Connolly.
Okay, then Ryan Connolly, and then those three linebackers? No, that was
That was
2020. See, I always
2020.
get those two confused. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I always get those two because we have so
Oh
many
no, Matt
draft
Pert
picks
was
in those rounds.
2020. Okay, no, we're mixing up draft classes here.
We're
We
mixing
are
up.
mixing up draft classes. Okay. Let's start from the top again. So we got the first three: DJ, Dexter, DeAndre. Third round, maybe that was Julian Love.
O'Shane.
Oh yes, O'Shane, right? O'Shane Zimenez,
O'Shane. Love.
Julian Love. Who was our fifth round pick? Was it Connolly?
It was Connolly.
Yeah.
Connolly. No, Duran, not Cam Brown and Tate Crowder. I think they were the next draft. That was 2020.
After Connolly, who do we draft?
After Connolly. Oh, Darius Slayton, no?
Oh yeah, Darius Slayton. Yeah, he was
Darius Slayton was in
2019.
that same draft. Ballantine,
There it
Osapo
is.
Adejay,
And Chris
Chris
Slayton.
Slayton.
Yeah,
Chris
so
Slayton was nice.
right
Who
off the
cares
bat, by the way, like those last three guys did not. Oh no, Ballantyne did make the roster, but the last two guys didn't make it. Ballantyne was there for a year.
I like
He had
George Asafo, but he just never. Yeah, he just.
yeah.
I don't know what
So
the hell
looking at
happened to
that
him.
draft, yeah, I mean, listen, bro, Julian Love and Darius Slayton and Dexter are the three best players. If Daniel Jones succeed, of course, he's up there as well.
Thank you guys for that refresher there. Thank you, Edward, for that refresher, because I get those two drafts mixed up all the time. So we draft so many players in each draft. We always have a lot of draft picks each draft, and half of them we don't even care about them. Like Chris Slayton, like
Mhm.
who the hell knows about Chris Slayton? And Corey Ballantyne, I liked a lot, man. I really did.
He had a
Like
great story, that's why.
yeah, he had a great story. But you know what? His road to the NFL was looking like he was going to be one of those late round guys that were going to turn into be some big number one, cornerback, because he was working with the first team his rookie season after getting shot in the butt, right? And
Right after he got drafted.
Yeah, he was working with the first team in training camp. Like, yo, this guy might be a freaking sleeper, and he was killing it in the preseason. The freaking regular season rolls around, and boom, he sucks. So,
Preseason
I
is
thought he would be a
preseason,
little
man.
better, man. I thought he'd be a little better, but
Preseason is preseason. And
here's
so
the
yeah,
thing.
looking
I
at the
don't have a
2019 draft,
problem.
yeah, I was gonna say, where do you stand on it? Just looking at those picks.
I don't have the lack of offensive linemen, right? I get it's the big thing that jumps out to everybody, right? Every draft, Dave Gettleman was the weirdest character because he would preach the trenches, but only think about the defensive line. He wouldn't think about the offensive line. And it's weird because I thought he would have paid attention a lot to the offensive line. That was our biggest need. He never went out early in those drafts to get an offensive line besides Andrew Thomas. And yeah, that was the only offensive lineman he drafted highly,
Mm-hmm.
even in the second round, third round. Oh, Matt Parrott. But that's it,
Yeah.
So, and those were in the same draft. So he didn't pay attention to the offensive line. He drafted Will Hernandez. All right, but Will Hernandez was Will Hernandez. But all the
Will
offensive
Hernandez
line
didn't
really
develop.
Yeah, as far as his resume goes in all like he had 3 drafts, right? 4 drafts.
4.
He had 4 drafts. In all of those, the offensive line, the attention to the offensive line was not
Was
there,
only
right?
there
That's
in
the biggest
2020.
thing that jumps out to you. We look at the 2019 draft specifically. The Daniel Jones pick, everybody's gonna go back and forth until Daniel Jones is not there no
Listen,
more.
this
You
is what
know,
I'll say, and I want to give a shout out to Marjorie. She says, "Didn't realize I was live. That's fine." Um, yeah, that dog video for anybody that doesn't know on Twitter was kind of going around. You can check my Twitter account. It's because I was double tasking. I was doing the podcast and talking with Marjorie on Twitter at the same time. Listen, man, that owner needs to face repercussions based off of what she
what the hell
told me.
happened?
It's gonna be a little too graphic to bring up in the
Oh,
podcast. I'll be
graphic.
honest with you.
Okay, no, just send
So
send me the link on Twitter or
just
something. I
check.
don't know.
It's literally my most recent retweet or whatever, so
Okay,
you can
I
check
got
that.
you.
And
Alright.
then in addition, I was gonna say on Daniel Jones. With Daniel, the thing is, if he becomes our franchise QB, then it's the right pick, no matter what anybody says, in my opinion. But if he doesn't, it's also the wrong pick, and you know what I mean. And we're not gonna get into a whole Daniel Jones debate right now. Somehow we always do. I'm gonna leave it at that. Yes, there are other factors involved, but we're talking about looking back at these drafts with right pick, wrong pick. Right now, he's still at a standstill. Dexter, where do you stand on Dexter Lawrence being the right or wrong pick?
I think this one people are gonna kill me for, but defensive tackle going in the first round for it. As of right now, Dexter Lawrence is a beast. We love him, right? Sexy Dexy, we love him. He picked up his 5th-year option, deservingly so. He's one of the better defensive linemen in the league, but you have to look at positional value. He's not as a position right now. He's probably not now you have to go
We
back and
got we
see
got
who
to
was
remember in
available.
2019 there was a good amount of defensive linemen going into teens, if you remember, like
Right.
Jeffrey Tillery,
Right.
Jeffrey Simmons as well.
Tillery.
So it's like
Tillery
there was
Simmons
kind of a run
and
on defensive line,
I
like
would have took Simmons
yeah,
all
like in
day.
Simmons, I think I'll have to go
He had
back
an
and look, but I remember
injury.
his first couple years he looked like the best out of 3 guys taken.
Yeah.
But just like how there was a run on wide receiver this year, there was a run on defensive lineman that year in 2019.
Yeah. Defensive lineman. A lot of defensive linemen went that year, but I love Dexter Lawrence, but I have to go back to see if he was probably the right pick. As far as like other guys that were drafted there, I mean, a lot of people wanted Sweat. I don't want Sweat, and even so, Sweat's not even that good right now. So I'm okay that we missed out on Sweat and got Dexter Lawrence. But you know, when you look at a rebuilding team, I guess it's okay to draft a first round defensive tackle. He wasn't my guy. I wanted
Hmm.
like a Byron Murphy. That's who I thought should have been drafted there. But he, of course, went to the second round. Then we got DeAndre. I'm not in love with the 2019 draft, no matter where we went. But I can check this out. I know Dave Gettleman's philosophy, and I can understand Dave Gettleman's philosophy besides the not addressing offensive line as much as he should. But
Hmm.
if you look at the draft, and at the time it happened. Daniel Jones, everyone hated. I hated it at the time, right? Behind that 2020. Baker, I liked. I liked the DeAndre Baker pick. I wanted Byron Murphy there, but I'm like, to each his own. If he feels like Baker is the better cornerback there to fit the defensive scheme, then fine, so be it. Julian Love was a slam dunk pick. Julian Love was a second round corner that fell to the fourth, and we drafted it. I was like, perfect. I don't care. We double dip with cornerback. We needed it, and I love Julian Love. I thought he would be just as good as Baker was.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I love Julian Love. But
Nah, listen, man. I'm the guy that thinks he could perfectly be our strong safety for a year. All right, I like him a lot too. I like what Julian Love brings to the team.
I like it. I like him as a cornerback too. If we really desperately need him, he played outside corner in college. He wasn't a slot guy. A lot of people
Hmm.
he transitions best to slot in the NFL, which a lot of people thought he would be, and I think he could still play slot too. But as he could play outside corner, he played it all his college career. Connolly was a great pick, but until he got hurt,
I was about to say he got hurt, and that's what happened, right? He looked like he was gonna be something. He looked like he
he had
might
like
have
two
been a
interceptions.
potential, yeah, like legit middle linebacker for us.
Yeah, he was good. He was good, and he reminded a lot of Micah McFadden, the linebacker we drafted more recently, reminds me of Connolly. Um, and Slayton was say we
Slayton,
hate
listen,
Slayton, but he
Slayton
was
is
a
a
great
slam
pick in
dunk
the
pick,
fifth.
bro. You're
Slam
not
dunk pick,
you're not getting back-to-back 750-yard seasons out of any other fifth round wide receiver,
right?
okay?
And then you look into the 6th and 7th rounds. Okay, obviously you're not gonna hit on these picks more than you're gonna not hit on these because a lot of these guys are just not gonna make the roster. They're gonna be camp bodies. Ballantine to me was a great pick. We went 3 corners in this draft, and I loved all of them. I Baker I liked. Julian Love I loved it. Corey Ballantine loved it. He played well until he got hurt, and then He got hurt again, and then and then eventually he sucked. But I think that was a great pick in the 6th round. I don't think that was a bad pick at all. Asafo out of J, I think. Why the hell are you drafting 7th round freaking or 6th
Tackles.
round offensive line tackles and just hoping that's what Dave Gettleman did. He just drafted these guys late and just freaking crossed his fingers and say, hopefully these guys work out for such a low value, and I'm not paying them pretty much anything. I think that's what it was too. I'm paying them nickels and dimes, and I'm hoping that they're gonna work out. And Chris Slayton, he was on the roster for like 2 years, and that was it.
So then,
But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're saying you like a lot of these players, and I agree with you. I do like a lot of them, but at the end of the day, there's only 5 of the 10 that we drafted still here. And looking at that list, same thing. Was that a failure of a draft?
Yes. Just because of the fact that Daniel Jones in his 4th year is still a huge question mark. Okay, there's that. Dexter Lawrence was a great player. Don't know if that's a great pick because defensive tackle, but you have 3
Shane's
first-round
probably going
picks
to
like
be out
anyways.
here.
Right? Shane, that was a terrible. I hate O'Shane. I liked him in the beginning. Don't like him anymore. Yeah, I didn't even talk about O'Shane too. I forgot about him. But
Love is a good pick. Slayton's a
Baker
good pick.
Baker was a decent pick. Again, I preferred Byron Murphy, but if the Giants wanted to play press man, which they didn't even wind up playing press man, they still drafted DeAndre Baker. But it would have been a great pick there. I love Julian Love, Connolly, Slayton, Balancey. I think in the mid rounds we really hit on those. But these guys aren't here anymore. Slayton might be on his way out. Balancey's not here anymore. Julian Love, we don't know. He's fine. He's a okay player right now, Julian Love, because we switched his position. And Connolly's not here anymore. So it's a failure of a draft. It is, especially be the cherry on top if if Daniel Jones leaves.
Yeah.
We drafted.
And I was going to say, I agree with Edward. Listen, a lot of this rides with DJ. If DJ works out, that it really does change the trajectory of the draft class. If you find your franchise quarterback in any draft class, it's a success for that entire draft class, in my opinion, because you find your franchise quarterback. You find, the gemstone that goes in the middle of the set, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, of course, like you said, if he doesn't, then we're in some really bad things. Now, I see a couple people talking about 2020 draft. I think it's too early to talk about them in a sense. We've been talking about 2018 and 2019, but 2020 as of right now, it looks really good, right? We got Thomas, the bookend franchise left tackle. We got Xavier McKinney, one of the biggest stars on the defense, and I think has a potential. I've been saying this since day one. We got an Antoine Winfield believer here, but I've been saying this since day one. That man is the best safety out of that draft class, and I still think he has more to grow. Antoine Winfield's already capped out. I don't care what KB says. All right? Who do we get in the 3rd round of 2020? That was Matt Pert. Okay, listen. Matt Pert can be a great backup tackle. Okay?
He can be. Yeah,
he can be an amazing backup tackle. And I would trust him to come in for like 2-3 games in the season if anybody goes down, all right? Knock on wood. 4th round, Darnay Holmes. I still like him. Like I said, it's still early because they're now entering their 3rd years. Like, I still like Darnay Holmes a lot. It's just way too early to go and give any opinions on those guys, in my opinion.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
Yeah, not yet. We'll see what happens with them. But if you wanted to judge it right now, yeah, Matt Parrish probably the biggest disappointment of that draft. Darnay Holmes, Darnay Holmes, I want to like Darnay, I really do.
Bro, I'm gonna keep it real with you. It just seems like they didn't use him last year that much. Like, it seemed like they weren't putting him in plays last year. He was just kind of there.
I have to look back. Yeah, I have to look back. But Darnay Holmes, he had some good plays. Like he was so hot and cold, man. Because sometimes Darnay would have good passive defense, be there, and but he allowed a lot of catches. This guy allowed a lot of catches and just like made up, had to tackle them after, I don't know. He allowed too much. He allowed too much for my liking. But I wanted to see him play a lot more closer to these receivers, like I see him play in college. Like he was very good following receivers on routes in college, and this year he allowed too much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And who else did we get in 2020? Of course, we got the linebackers, right? We got Tay Crowder, the best Mr. Relevant pick that comes to mind. Of course, there's probably somebody else. Watch there be some legendary Hall of Fame type player that was a Mr. Irrelevant pick. Of course, we got the inside linebacker that we moved to outside, Cam Brown, and we got the outside linebacker that we moved to inside, Carl Coughlin.
I'll
And
never
those guys, a
understand
lot of
it.
people were big fans of Carter Coughlin. I was always like, I don't see it. And it's the same way I feel about Ellerson Smith, by the way. It's this I look at them very similarly the way some fans feel about them. They were just so hype about these two players coming, and I'm like, well, I'll just wait until I actually see what you guys are seeing. I still
Right.
have yet to see Carter Coughlin on the field do something that actually warrants the amount of hype this man gets from some Giants fans.
And he's not gonna get much like reps anymore. You know,
He,
we have
no
we have
disrespect to him, he doesn't deserve it. We got Kayvon Thibodeau,
right
we got Azeez
exactly.
Ojulari. Like, bro, you're gonna
Quincy
be a
Roche,
third string.
you
Yeah,
know,
Quincy
yeah,
Roche is gonna be like the next man after Azeez. Like, yeah, bro, come on now.
yeah. And TJ Brunson too was
TJ,
terrible
is he
pick.
still on the team? Can somebody let me know? TJ
He
Brunson.
is he is still on the team, but he's. Oh wait, I have to recheck that.
I don't
I
know
gotta
if TJ
recheck that.
Brunson's still on the team. I haven't heard that man's name since he was drafted.
Yeah, well, he got cut last year, but they put him on the practice squad. I don't know. Let's see.
Hmm.
He's still with the Giants. He's still with the Giants, but he's not gonna last too long. And I even coming off that draft, I like Tay Crowder a lot more than I did T.J. Brunson. So
Hmm.
yeah,
And so let's kind of shift towards the title of the podcast, the big news. So James Bradberry, it's been all quiet on the Western Front from James Bradberry. Of course, the Giants are in a very tough situation since the beginning of the offseason. Since Joe Schoen got here and he said he's gonna look to clear up like $40 million in cap space, I believe is the number he gave. James Bradberry was always sort of cap casualty number one. It was him and it was Blake. They somehow figured out a way to keep Blake. I don't know if they did that because they look at the situation as if we get rid of Blake, the linebacker group is way too weak to trot out on the field versus if we get rid of Bradberry. It does take a hit the secondary, but it's still more than good enough to trot out there on game day. That's probably the way they looked at it. But it's been no secret that the Giants have basically been shopping James Bradberry since day one. And Bradberry being the guy he is, one of my favorite players on the team and on the defense, he's been completely like a professional with it. He's been fine with it. He understands the situation. He's not really, doing anything, what's the word I'm looking for, out of pocket, I guess I would say.
hmm
And even Joe Schoen said, I got a couple quotes here, that him and his team have been like the best they can in terms of trying to work out a situation here. Now, Shane did say that a last resort would be kind of not reworking, but extending him to try and move some money into future years. And I really, really want them to do that. I don't know why they wouldn't do that considering he's our number one corner, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen because as of today on WFAN, these are some quotes that Joe Schoen that basically say the situation is going to come to a resolve at the end of this week, one. And then two, it basically looks like Bradberry is going to be released. These are the quotes. We're working through that right now, Shane said on WFAN's Carton and Roberts. His agents have been great. We've been in constant communication. I've talked to James. It's been very professional throughout the entire process. And we should have some resolution, hopefully by the end of the week. It's unfortunate because he's a great kid. I've always spoken very highly of the kid. Listen, he's a starting corner in the league. It's just where we are financially. We still got to sign our draft picks. We got to be able to sign our practice squad and then have replacement costs early in the season. Go ahead, KB, and then I'll get Tudo afterwards.
Yeah, as far as James Bradberry goes, man, it's unfortunate, and I think everybody understands it's unfortunate. We want to keep him, and if we want to get compensation, we want to get compensation for him. I don't think none of the. I mean, at this point, why not? They should have just like traded him away for something, right? Like rather than just releasing him. I know there's we don't have the right value for him, but at this point, crappy value is better than no value at all. If you get like a freaking 6th-round pick next year, I think just take it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care. Even if it was a 5th-round pick, I think you could have got like a 4th-round pick for him. He's still a really good corner in this league. You could probably get a 4th-round pick for him, and you could hit on 4th-round picks. I mean, they get hit on them all the time. They could be starters for you. So I thought they should have done that in the last draft. I thought we were going to get an answer this draft to see if he was traded and what kind of compensation we get for him. It looks like I don't know. I guess they shopped him and they didn't like what the offers that they got, so they wound up just not trading him at all. I think it was kind of I'm kind of in question with that. Um,
I'm not gonna lie. Once we started trading down in round 2, I was like, "Oh, Bradberry's trade is coming," and it would have been perfect if we got some type of 2nd or 3rd round pick there. But obviously, did not happen.
Yeah, and so, it's unfortunate that he's gonna have to be released there, but like I said, and like you said when you read that quote, we don't have the funds to keep him here. Like, they literally drafted players that they can't even sign yet. They can't sign them yet. They can't commit to any money that's not there,
Hmm.
you know? So, they still have to work through all those numbers, and even when they release Bradberry, I think there's a little bit more cap they have to go through. My thing is, quick question off the rails a little bit. How did Dave Gettleman expect to take care of this team if he was still here another year? Did he purposely screw up this cap? Look how
I,
bad this cap is.
I
We
don't
are
know.
so strapped right now. What would Dave Gettleman do in this situation? What the hell was he going to do if he kept his job? Because this is a terrible situation we're in. We can't do anything. Like,
Hmm.
I've never seen a situation. I've seen like situations like last year where like the Eagles were like $60 million over the cap, right? But they found a way to get down. They found a way to get that. We already had our draft and we can't even draft. We can't even sign these players yet. How? How did Dave Gettleman himself expect to get this done? Did he not think about the repercussions of everything, all the signings that he made and all the backloading he did with contracts? I don't know.
First off, shout out to Tudo for the $5 super chat. I appreciate the support, my man. He says, salute Cushion, KB, and everyone in the chat. Drop by our office to pay our proper respects and to our Giants fam in America. Forget about it. Tudo, I'm not sure how far it is. It is still, of course, going several countries, but would you be making the trip to London from Italy for the Giants game, week 5, Giants versus Packers, in Tottenham Stadium? And anybody over there in the UK, Europe area making that trip? It's the first game the Giants are playing in London since 2016. We are, of course, actually 2-0 when we play in London. The first game was in 2007, and may or may not be related, but both times that the Giants played in London, we kind of went to the playoffs that season, of course. First we did it at Wimbledon Stadium. I can't remember who we played in '07, but we beat them. And then we played
Miami
at
Dolphins.
the Dolphins. Then we played at Twickenham Stadium. I think we played the Rams,
Yeah.
the St. Louis
Case
Rams at
Keenum.
London, and we won that game as well. We got the Packers lined up. I've been waiting for many years, many years to get some type of revenge on Karen Rodgers. So if we could please go over there to London, where there's actually a very strong Giants fan base. There's a lot of Giants fans in the UK. Can we get a W, man? Come on, pull out something.
This was a perfect situation for the Giants, this London game, because not only do we don't have to waste a home game like the Packers do, so they have to waste one of their
Yeah,
home
this is
games.
technically an away game for us.
It's
We
still
we
it's
have
still an away
basically
game.
10 home games this year.
Yeah, it's still an away game, so we don't have to sacrifice a home game. Um, So, and that being said, I always want to face the better competition somewhere else because it kind of levels the playing field a little bit. We play the Green Bay Packers at Green Bay. It's going to be harder to pull out a win there. I feel like the playing fields are a little bit level when you're traveling across the freaking world, and you got jet lag and you got all those things. And so it is a possibility we could probably pull out a win. These London games always go crazy. As far as like expectations go, a lot of bad teams fall to good teams in these London games or wherever a different country because it's just not the right environment. The playing fields are leveled.
The only thing
So
I'm surprised by is that this is kind of early. I was expecting this maybe a bit more towards the midpoint of the season, but week 5 is, yeah, that's like beginning of the second month of the season. It's kind of early. I didn't expect it that early.
yeah, and so I mean, if we could pull out a win against the Packers in London, I mean that would be a really
It'll
good
be
thing for us.
very Giants-esque for us not to start off strong, but then we get a win in London, and we're hoping for something to come off of that.
Yeah, and then we're the next meme, like the Jaguars couldn't get a win in America for for so long. We were like, oh, the Giants are 1-6, and they still haven't had a win in America yet. So
Oh my God. Let me get a couple comments here from the chat. Edward said, I wouldn't even want to play for the Giants if I was Bradberry. I'd feel so disrespected if I was him, not going to lie. Thank God that he doesn't. Like I said, he's been the consummate professional. He's been completely understanding of anything there. MPZ Productions just says Bradberry with a sad face. Marjorie says, we need money for the 11-man draft class. This sucks that we can't find a trade partner. And part of me is really thinking that there is a trade partner. Is just that it's probably something that sucks. Maybe it's something like a 6th round pick, and they're like,
for
that's
James
not what we're
Bradberry,
hoping for. Yeah.
like I said, I get that. I get that. Trust me, because you want to get the best value for your players. Why not just take it if you don't have anything better? Why not just take it? You know, I don't know. But I'm gonna be right back. Give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
For sure, for sure. Next comment I was gonna go down. Josh, he says, I'm gonna be sick if Bradberry gets cut and goes to the Eagles. All right, you bringing this up. Normally, I would tell you to strike that thought from your mind and let's have that chat stricken from the record. But Darius Slay has low-key been recruiting James Bradberry. For those of you that don't know, a lot of the way that players are recruited nowadays are actually kind of public. You know, they do it over Twitter, over Instagram, over social media. It has its pros, it has its cons. Darius Slay been recruiting James Bradberry, man. He's been kind of talking him up on Twitter a little bit. Saw a tweet today saying that, you know, Darius Slay basically tweeting it wouldn't make sense for the Giants to do that. Why would they do that? He's a very good corner. And listen, man, the Eagles are our rival that I hate the most, that I have the most negative feeling towards. I hate them with such a passion. If James Bradberry were to get cut by us, and then this man goes and signs a deal with the Eagles, oh my God, it would make me sick to my stomach. I don't even know if I'll be able to withstand that, man. They just got AJ Brown, and now they got James Bradberry. He's automatically their best corner. I don't care what any Eagles fan says. He's automatically their best corner. And then I've said this before on a lot of my draft streams. The Eagles have one of the best defensive lines in the entire NFL, and they have one of the most stacked edge rushing positions. It's kind of low key, but it shouldn't be in the NFL. They don't need to really have good corners. You look at their Super Bowl year in 2017, they didn't have that great corners. It was their defensive line and pass rush that was making that secondary look better. So if they get Bradberry with a great D-line, I'm so sick to my stomach, man. I'd be so sick to my stomach. Shout out to Tudo for the other $5 super chat. He says, yes, Kush, we're all planning to be at the Giants game in London and also at the away game at the Link this year. Hopefully we'll meet. If I can somehow get to the Link, I don't know if I'm trying to get killed, but if I somehow get to the Link, I'll let you know, bro. Go ahead, though, Kepi. We were just talking about, it's kind of a, potential that Bradberry ends up with the Eagles.
What? Hell no. Listen.
Darius Slay been doing recruiting, bro.
Yeah,
on
but
Twitter.
listen, Eagles. Listen, man. I'll tell you right now.
First of all, do not say what you say every single stream, because it's true. Eagles fans think they're gonna get everybody. That's true. That is true. But this is realistic. This is realistic. This is very realistic, bro.
Listen, James Bradberry. I would dishonor James Bradberry. You could say chase the bag all you want. You had 31 other freaking teams to go to, and you go to the Eagles. Listen, let me tell you one thing about how sports works, okay? And you know this. So I'm not telling anybody something that they don't know. Players always go to rival teams to disrespect the team that they were with.
So then, yeah, that means he wasn't truthful about the way he felt. Can I fault the man for feeling disrespected by the Giants right now? I don't. I can't.
Look at the cap situation. How the hell can they work it? They can't keep him.
Listen, if I'm James Bradberry and if I'm truly feel some type of way with the Giants right now, I'm looking at the fact that you got Blake Martinez coming out the ACL, and I'm like, you should have cut him and kept me. Tell me not, bro. That's what I'm looking at.
How much money does Blake Martinez save?
He would save 10 mil.
He would save 10 mil right now.
Haven't we done this breakdown multiple times back in January and February before?
I can't remember, dude. Honestly, I don't remember. We look at.
But Bradberry and Blake were right around the same number. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So if Blake is a little bit less, is a little bit less, then if I'm Bradberry, I'm saying cut Blake and a couple role players, bro. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get into his mind if that is the situation.
I can understand that. Okay.
And we just drafted 2 linebackers, right?
Listen, hey man, listen. Hey. Why? Oh no, look, we have $12 million in dead cap, dude.
Mm-hmm.
For Martinez if we cut him now.
And how many dead cap do we have for Bradberry?
Let me see. It's not a lot at all.
Share screen.
Dead cap is how much we have to pay out. $12 million we have to pay out. We don't save nothing.
And then how much is there on Bradberry?
His cap hit is $6 million.
And his
dead cap is $12 million.
For Bradberry?
No, for Martinez. So we would have to pay double if we let
him go. I'm asking how much is it for Brad?
Let me see. I know his cap hit is $21 million. Let me see how much he's saving.
Because his dead cap has to be a good amount as well.
His dead cap is 11, so we'll save $10 million. But if you cut Martinez, we actually pay double the amount. So that's why
we're
we can't cut
paying
Martinez.
we're paying what, like 18 then? Because 12 plus 6? Or am I doing that math wrong?
No. So we're paying Martinez if he stays on the roster. We're paying him $6 million. That's his cap hit.
Yeah.
But if we cut him, we have to pay him his the rest of his guaranteed money, which is $12 million. We pay him extra $6 million if we cut him. So that's why we
So
can't cut
that's
him.
the reasoning. Okay, then bet that's the reasoning right there.
Yeah, I figured if he saved us just as amount of money as Bradberry did, he would be out of there. He would be out of there. But like I said, I really am pissed off with the way Dave Gettleman structured this freaking team as far as the financials go. Because even if he was in this position, he would be like, "What the hell do I do? How the hell do you figure that out?"
I don't know,
That's
man,
crazy.
because we have 11 draft picks to sign, and the
Right.
fact of the matter is, guys, is we really cannot move forward until we sign all of our draft picks. Like, it will be just a failure of epic proportions if we're like in July and we're still talking about rookie contracts. Like, are you kidding me? Can you imagine if that's the case?
Oh my
I
god.
would start to
Oh,
question.
if we
I
go
would
to
start to
training
question our front
camp,
office.
if we go to training camp. No, but here's the thing though. I wouldn't blame them because this is not their financial. This is not their financials. Like this is actually I know it sounds crazy, but this is actually a really tough situation. I've never seen a situation like this.
No. I'm not saying anything about blaming them. I'm just like, for any front office, bro, that's, you know what you were about to get hired into, right? It's like, sign your draft picks. You shouldn't be in July talking about rookie contracts, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
And plus, we
that's
brought in a
true.
lot of undrafted free agents. I know they're like, they're making chump change compared to the regular NFL, man. But we just signed how many was it? Like 9 undrafted free agents, I think it was. It was a good amount. So I'm assuming they definitely, listen, he's all but gone. That's how they're going to get money to sign the draft picks. That's how they got money to sign their undrafted free agents. If there's anybody else that's going to come, in like basically part C of free agency, we'll see. That's just where we are, man. Sam
Mhm.
Castle says nobody's going to trade for Bradberry because teams know we can't keep him because of our cap. So they know sooner or later they're going to have to release him. So I don't blame any team that doesn't make a trade offer. I mean, yeah, that's facts, man. That's nothing but facts.
Yeah.
London, Mike says, plan tickets on Tudo to the London game, Hub. What do you mean plan tickets on Tudo to the London game? I'm not
Yeah,
going to the
okay.
London game, bro. Y'all
Yeah, I ain't going.
crazy.
I don't even have a passport. I don't even have a passport. And
It's
how do
already,
you,
it's
how does
already
that?
expensive to go to a Giants game at MetLife, which is like
How do you
half
even?
hour away from me.
I'm such a noob when it comes to this because I haven't even left the freaking Eastern time zone. But how do you like transfer your money over to their currency? Like if you went to
Yo,
London,
you go
right?
to a bank. You go to a bank and you
Uh
exchange
huh.
money, or there's like actual places for exchange, and it's to exchange
At
it and
like
whatnot.
the
But you go to
bank
like a
over
bank.
there, like you go to the bank over there,
Yeah,
and
you
then
hand them some. You
okay.
hand them like 100 US. They'll give you however much it's worth in pounds or whatever they use.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, I didn't know how. I didn't. I always thought about that. I'm like, how does my money doesn't work over there? How the hell am I supposed to pay? You know what I'm saying?
banks, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All
Matthew,
right.
what's up, Matthew? He says the Blake restructure was really clutch when he's taking a look back at it. J King says saving 13 mil. Marjorie says I'm just surprised that they did not pick a cornerback in the second round if they knew they need to cut Bradberry. And we were
Yeah,
talking about
man.
a lot of cornerback picks earlier.
Booth.
We're gonna get to Cordell Flott in a second because I did want to bring him back up.
Oh, we
But
gotta talk
yeah,
about the draft class. We haven't even talked about the draft class together.
but like, let me get your thoughts first on the fact that we kind of passed on
Hmm.
2 good corners in the second round when we traded down. How do you feel about that? And this, we got to take all the context into information, right? So Andrew Booth was on the board. Kyler Gordon was on the board. They, to me, were the 2 best corners available. We did pass on them. However, listen, when we took Wandale Robinson, we took 2 other players with him via the trade down. We took Michael McFadden with him. We took Dane Belton with him. So you got to look at the fact that we did pass up on 2 guys who may be really good corners in the NFL, but we got 3 guys that fill in 3 separate holes. So let me get your thoughts.
I think that's how they really thought about it, and I think honestly the Giants are content with having Adoree as that number one, and then them filling in the role. Besides that, I think they're looking at Cordell Flott as possibly being a boundary core. Although he mostly fits the slot, he can play, but he can play outside, inside. I think he's gonna wind up playing the outside, um, opposite of our guy Adoree Jackson, and then you'll have Aaron Robinson, you'll have Darnay Holmes doing the nickel and dime in the slot. So I think that's how they want to work it out. But to me, trust me, I've been falling in love with Michael McFadden. I've been falling in love with his film a lot. And I like him, but I wouldn't prioritize having him. And I mean, who was the other one?
Darian Beavers.
Dame Belton, right?
Oh,
Dame
you're talking about
Belton
the
was
guys that we got. Yeah, 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 from
yeah.
the trade downs.
I
Yeah.
don't like Dame Belton that much. I think he's like a role player. He's not a bad player. Don't get me wrong. He's not a bad player, but he's not a guy that like create his own plays. He's a flat. He's a
Well,
zone
he was a
flat
he was a
safety.
fifth round pick,
Yeah, he's
right?
a zone flat
Fifth was he?
safety.
Which one of them was the fifth and which one of them was the fourth?
He was a fourth.
He was the fourth. Okay.
He was the fourth round pick, and I think he could have been great as like a sixth round pick. I don't think I'm not in love with him at all.
Listen,
Micah
and
McFadden, I
let's
think.
put a disclaimer out there because people
Mhm.
love to get on other people's necks. Yeah, we're not experts, all right, but we do a little bit of our own film breakdowns, research and whatnot. This is just our opinions at the end of the day, and we welcome all opinions, even if they're different, to discuss it. But that's what this is right now, a discussion. Go ahead, KB.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think I wouldn't take Micah McFadden and Dane Belton the prospects of them over possibly getting a corner. That can replace James Bradberry. I know I could understand how someone could say, "Oh, I feel like." Adoree Jackson could be our number one guy. I get that. That's fine. If you draft Andrew Booth, same situation. Adoree would be your number one guy, and Andrew Booth would be a solid boundary corner at number two. And I'd be so comfortable with Andrew Booth there at number two. It's like ridiculous. All right. Now Andrew Booth has some injury concerns. So I could be eating my own words right now. Even, I'm saying I don't want the Giants to draft injury prone players. And then, I want them to draft the injury prone player. But, Andrew Booth is a guy I'd probably take a risk on. And he was a first round prospect dropping in the second round. I would definitely take him. And with Kyler Gordon, I'm not a huge fan of Kyler Gordon, but I would have understood if they drafted him out of desperation in the second round. Um, but I'm not thrilled about how they handled the situation with cornerback because I'll be honest with you, all the memes we talk about all the memes about Flott, right? What is a Flott? I'm looking at his film and I don't like Cordell Flott. I don't like him.
So before I get to Cordell Flott, because I've been warming up to him, but for a reason that I'm not sure if you saw yet. But first of all, shout out to Tudo for another $5 super chat. Thank you, my man. He says this will be our third time Giant game in London 2016. There was about 1,900 diehard Italian Giants fans cheering for them. Rugby sauce passionate. That's crazy. Do you guys kind of 1,900, bro? Do you guys like somehow plan that together, or like how these 1,900 people from Italy travel all the way? That's real traveling right there. He's talking about fandoms that travel. But yeah. So I'm kind of with you a little bit. I've completely warmed up to the Wandale Robinson pick. I don't know if I'll call myself a believer, but I really do like the kid so much, man. He plays, first of all, I'm glad that we got him because knock on wood, bro, touch red, he doesn't get injured, right? We said that with Barkley, and then, we all saw what happened. But Wandale Robinson was almost never hurt. The only thing he had was a minor, like hamstring issue or something like that. But that man was basically never hurt in college, and he's somebody that at his frame and, with the plays that he's running with his speed, very much yard after the catch, is in between a lot of guys trying to basically take his head off. He gets hit really hard, but he gets back up immediately. So he's very tough, and he's also not injury prone. So I'm really happy with that. And yes, I do see the potential. I'm with you on Dan Belton and Micah McFadden. I know you like Micah McFadden. I actually don't. I think that Micah McFadden could be I think he's going to be a great special teams contributor, and I hope that he proves me wrong. I kind of view him as a rotational middle linebacker at best right now. Obviously, Darian Beavers, when we get to him, we'll get to him. I think was the best middle linebacker that we took this draft. Don't really have an opinion on Dane Belton because when I was looking at Wandale Robinson, Wandale Robinson cooked that man when they were playing Iowa. But Dane Belton is very much just a thumper depth safety as well. It's like, so I kind of have the same thoughts as you. I'm like, these guys probably could have been picked later on. But I'm looking at the strategy that the Giants did. They were very much looking to fill in as many holes as they could. That's what they were trying to do because of the cap situation we're in right now. When you think about it, it's like we said this so many times, right? I've said it countless times on the stream before where I'm like, the Giants have 9 picks, but I don't think 9 picks is enough to fill in all their holes. That's why we went down to 11 picks, 1. And 2, that's why they're making picks that we may be questioning, even if they prove us wrong, right? But we're questioning them right now because they're trying to fill in holes when there's literally no other way for them to fill in those holes right now. So that, you know, when I look at it like that, I'm like, all right, I get it. I respect it. I'm with it. I'm gonna roll with it. Now with Cordell Flott, like I said, I want to get to him because this, first of all, I was told this idea by Diggy, the local LSU fanatic, but it was backed up by a lot of other people. And when I went and I looked at his tape a little bit, and then I went and I read up on him a little bit from other NFL scouts, I'm like, I see what they're talking about. This is a pick for next year. Because it's like, don't be surprised if Cordell redshirts this year. Because a lot of people were saying if he stayed another year at LSU, he would have been a first round pick. You know, some players, they stay that extra year and they develop.
Yeah, but
With Cordell, I'm looking at it, I'm
his-
like, if he stays here, he basically redshirts. He doesn't play that much. Or if he does, you know, it's like, it's whatever time. And he learns, I'm like, he could potentially develop into like a number 2 corner for us. And if that's the case, that's
could.
what happens, then it's a good pick.
He's a taller, lankier corner.
And I think he's also the
Listen,
youngest player that we picked, by the way.
Diggy keeps saying that he's 6'1". He's not 6'1", okay? He's not. He's 6 foot, okay? He's 6 foot and a little bit. He's not 6'1". I know he's LSU. You know, you want to say, oh, he's a tall corner. He's 6 foot. He's 6'1". He's 6 foot, okay? But anyway, I'm looking at Cordell Flott, right? And I looked at him with the most non-biased thing because I really didn't like I had nothing personal against it. I just like his name is funny, so I just made fun of his name. That's it. So I went into it with an open mind, watched Cordell Flott's film, and I think he's a very smart, instinctive zone corner. Why on earth the Giants and Wink Martindale's system drafted a zone corner for a press man defense is beyond me. Can Cordell Flott press? Absolutely not. They can't. He has long arms, but he's small as like he plays small. Okay, I mean he's an aggressive player, but he's not strong at all. He's an aggressive tackler. He tries his best tackling. Doesn't mean he's very successful at it. He tries to do his best in the run. He doesn't have downfield speed. He's not fast. I mean, I'm not even. I don't even care what he runs as a 4.4. I'm looking at his game film, his game speed, and he doesn't keep up with receivers downfield. He can't. He can't. He gets beat constantly downfield. He's a zone guy. Listen. His IQ is there. He knows where he's supposed to be in his zone. I get that. The Giants aren't going to be. I mean, looking at Wink's defense, we're not going to be playing a lot of zone. So I don't know where he fits in that at all. Now I think a lot of people say he's more so best for the slot. I think he's best fit is the outside. I think he's a boundary corner in the zone. Like I said, I don't think he's a man corner at all. So I don't know where the hell he's going to fit on this defense. But yeah, I don't think he's very quick on route breaks. I don't think he could keep up receivers. Sticking on them and playing man defense. I seen him play man defense a couple times. I don't like what I see. He got torched.
I agree
by
with everything
Kyle
you're saying
Phillips.
because I think his biggest problem, you haven't even listened to it yet, is hesitation and processing time sometimes. He
Yeah,
hesitates to
on
make
the
a
route
move and dude
breaks.
just flies by him, or he
Yeah.
doesn't even realize what's happening and the guy's flying by him.
Yeah, and if you look at, I watched him versus UCLA. Kyle Phillips, who's like a 5th round receiver or something like that. He's a great route runner out of UCLA, slot receiver out of UCLA, great route runner. He lit up Cordell Flott. The numbers aren't there because the ball wasn't thrown his way constantly because the quarterback just wasn't looking his way. But Cordell Flott got lit up by Kyle Phillips, man. If you watch that film, it's insane. I mean, he almost every single play, Kyle Phillips was open. And he made Flott stumble a couple of times too, which I'm not a big fan of either. So, and he bites on double moves constantly. So the double moves, the fake out, the fake in and out, he's biting on that constantly. I'm not a fan, man. Not a fan in this scheme. Not a fan. If we were a zone defense and we drafted him to be a potential outside corner for the future for in zone, I'd say I'm all for it because he's very smart. His IQ is there. He knows where to be in zone. He has great communication with his corners, with his other corners and his other people that he has there. He knows how to pick up on other receivers that are passing by him. He knows how to let go of receivers in his zone. He knows how to let them go. He knows how to pick them up. He has great passing off ability with his teammates in zone. But that's it, man. I can't see him fitting this defense. I cannot see him fitting. I think it was a bad pick. I think it's a bad pick in my opinion. I know
Like I said,
Diggy's
bro,
gonna hate it, but
and listen, I'm gonna ask you to stop. I only mentioned it because he was the first person that told me the idea, but it was reinforced by a lot of other people, right? So let's keep Diggy out of our minds right now when I'm
No,
talking
'cause
about the
like,
next year thing.
yeah.
Because like I said, when I went and I was reading up on him, and I'm reading what multiple scouts had to say, I'm just like, why are they all saying that he was somebody that should have, stayed another year, and that if he stayed another year, he could develop into something? Because listen, you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of this draft, all right? Especially after day one. I've been trying to, like I said, look at it through the theme of they're trying to fill in holes. And when I look at it that way, I'm like, I respect it, I roll with it. So I'm not trying to be a complete homer here. In fact, I'm trying to be the opposite. I'm trying to be as biased as I can. But at the same time, I want to believe that they're doing something that we don't know, and I want to believe that they're doing something right. So when I'm trying to make sense of the Cordell Flott pick, I'm like, unless they're gonna move him to safety, which he probably could have success at, are they just gonna let him sit for a little bit and let Aaron Robinson do his thing with a full season potentially? Like, what's
He's a
gonna
third
happen
round
here?
pick, man, on the defense, and if we get rid of James Bradberry, we instantly have a huge hole there. He's gonna be thrown in the fire. Either way, he's gonna be thrown in the
Robinson, right?
fire. I'm not talking about Flott.
Well, Flott was a what
We
round
could
was he?
say
He
he
was
was
a
a
fourth round pick,
third.
right?
No, he's a third round pick.
Oh, Flott was our second third round pick,
80,
right? Yeah,
80,
yeah, yeah. But Aaron
81st
Robinson was
overall.
also a third round pick, so I still think Aaron Robinson
He
is above
was,
him
but
right
Aaron
now.
Robinson was hurt. He was,
That's
but
what
Aaron
I'm
Robinson was
saying.
hurt.
Aaron Robinson with potentially a full season if Bradbury is gone. Is this the guy that I'm looking at as our number 2 corner right now, not Flott?
I don't know if Aaron Robinson could play the outside. He never played the outside. He's the
You're gonna stick him in
inside guy.
inside, then what you gonna do? You're not moving Darnay Holmes to the outside.
Exactly. That's why you have to throw Flott in there. That's
No,
what I
that's
told
why I'm
you.
saying I would rather have Darnay stick in the middle and then put Aaron Robinson on the outside.
Mm.
Is what I would rather
Uh,
do.
Aaron Robinson does not. Aaron Robinson plays like a safety. He doesn't even play like a corner. I would be more comfortable with putting freaking Aaron Robinson try him out at strong safety and freaking leave Darnay in the slot and put Flott on the outside. I mean, I don't like it, but I mean, like I said, I don't like how they drafted the corner. Where does Flott fit on this defense? He doesn't fit. Just be real. I know you say you want to believe that Shane
Like I
did the
said,
right thing, and but
I'm on the same track as Lucas is right now. Shout out to Lucas, and I'm gonna get this super chat. Lucas says cornerbacks can develop to fit different schemes they might not be an ideal fit for. They can adapt. Like I'm saying, bro, they could very much believe that they could coach this man up, and that's what I'm trying to believe. Because I'm not trying to be all sad again until the season.
yeah. And Jason King mentioned Rodarius Williams. Listen, Rodarius Williams actually didn't do a bad job
Rodarius
when he
Williams
played.
is I like him.
I
I
like
like
him a
him.
lot. I'm not gonna full out say that he has potential. Like, I'm not gonna just pencil him in as starting corner when he was drafted in like the freaking 6th round. So we're gonna wait and see. But he started early on in the season for the Giants when we needed him, and he actually didn't play too bad. Like, I didn't notice the difference between him and like when he was filling in for, I think he was filling in for James Bradberry a couple of times at number 1 corner for whatever reason. I don't know if Bradberry was hurt or something like that, but I remember seeing Rodarius out there. I was like, oh, that's 25 out there, not James
Not
Bradberry.
24.
Yeah, not 24. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I like
but
Rodarius.
I if he's the wild card. See, Rodarius Williams is the wild card. If he winds up
Because let's not forget, Rodarius,
working
even though we got
in,
him in the 6th, he also dropped. He was somebody that's supposed to go in like the 3rd or 4th, and we got a steal on him.
yeah, and he was Oklahoma State. Am I wrong
Yeah,
about that?
Oklahoma
Oklahoma
State.
State.
Yeah, Orange.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, he's the wild card. If he winds up actually having a good camp and being our day 1 starting corner, then I have no worry about Flott potentially. He has to develop and eventually get that role. But if we throw him into the fire, I'm worried about Cordell Flott. I'm worried about, and I don't know where anybody said that he's a potential 1st round pick. I mean, he's not a playmaker on defense. Like, he's a role player. Like, I don't know. The Giants got all the players that are role players that have versatility, and I see their mindset. I see their mindset. It's not necessarily my philosophy, but I see what they want to do and I support it. But I mean, a guy like Wandale Robinson, if he doesn't work out, he's gonna be a failed 2nd round pick. I compare receivers like Sterling Shepard, slot receiver, right? Just like Wandale Robinson. Sterling Shepard was drafted in the 2nd round, just like Wandale Robinson. Now I compare them 2 prospects together. Sterling Shepard was far better of a prospect than Wandale Robinson was. When you look at the value of these players,
We're Wandale. I'll say this:
I
though,
like Wandale too.
We're Wandale outshines Sterling Shepard is that he has way more potential than Shepard had ever coming in, especially considering the coaching staff that we have right now.
I mean, I guess so. Like as far as potential goes, I guess so. But he's a guy also, learning a receiver as well. And I think Sterling Shepard as a prospect was just way better. I mean,
Sterling Shepard,
I don't
well,
know.
yeah, Sterling Shepard knew his routes better. Wandale, yeah,
Mhm.
is still Sterling Shepard's one of the best route runners in the NFL. We say this all the time.
He's one of the best route runners
Um,
coming out of college I've ever seen.
but I still hold, and you didn't even really have what you call it. Um, a counter to it is that the potential, Wandale's potential, just like Kadarius Toney, like everybody's calling him KT 2.0 for multiple reasons. Same play style, same yard after the catch ability, same type of route running, and same type of developmental player coming in. But when you look at Dayball specifically, who when he was talking about the Wandale pick, he was talking about receivers that he's had success with at that size. The two of them, of course, being Cole Beasley and Isaiah McKenzie. Of course, those guys have different play styles,
Mhm.
but Dayball apparently is looking for a guy that side to have on the inside, which suggests he's trying to kick Kadarius Toney outside, which I think could work because Kadarius has the speed and agility to be on the outside, in my opinion. So it's like if he's looking for somebody for that specifically to fit his scheme, then I'm going back to the potential. I'm like, if it works out, this could be something really good.
Yeah, like I said, I understand their mindset. I understand what they want to do. It's just that if it winds up not working out, they are going to kill this regime because they didn't draft those players where they should have been. Like if Wandale Robinson was a third round pick, I'd feel less worried about it because he's a third round pick. If Cordell Flott was taking in the fifth round, I would feel less worried about it because I honestly think Cordell Flott's a fifth round value.
What
I
if
think
I
he's a fifth
told
round
you
corner.
they're doing kind of the exact opposite what Dave Gettleman did his first year here? If we go back at the 2018 draft and we're like, it is the night of the 2018 draft, and you could even go back and look at quote unquote draft grades from experts and whatnot, where they got like
Mhm.
basically A's on every single one of their picks. Guys, they were picking best player available, which is
They
not
were. They
right.
were.
They were picking. Did it work out? No, we literally talked about it at the beginning of the stream. It
Right,
did not work
right.
out. It
You
was a
never
failure of a
know,
draft.
yeah. Even if those names are great, like the
Like at
2018,
the night of
2019
the
draft.
draft, bro, Saquon Barkley was regarded as the best player in the draft. Will Hernandez was regarded as a guard that slipped into the second round, and so was Lorenzo Carter because he was a third round pick. He was somebody that was supposed to go in the second, but he slipped into the third. BJ Hill was a great pick in the third round as well. Like if we're looking at it, they went best player available there. It didn't work out. This regime has a different philosophy, at least for the consensus board, that is, because maybe on their boards, this guys were the best players available. But from what we have to go off is the consensus boards, they were not. They're looking at let's filling in the holes that we can with guys that are young, guys that are athletic, and guys that fit our schemes. Is kind
Yeah,
of the thing that I could deduct from that.
yeah. Yeah, like I said, like just like how the Buffalo Bills drafted, they drafted all the players that they needed, right? They didn't go off best player available. You could look at Buffalo Bills draft right now. They drafted players that they needed. They didn't draft flashy players. James Cook was a guy that was drafted a little too high where he was drafted, and is because he was a Buffalo Bills running. How many times did I say that when we were talking about
Mm-hmm.
James Cook and I mentioned he was a Buffalo Bills running back if I've ever seen one, and they drafted him highly because they didn't want him. They wanted to make sure that he wasn't out of reach, and so they technically reached themselves on him. So they do, that's kind of what the Buffalo Bills did, and you can see Joe Shane doing the same exact thing with the Giants. And I see their mindset, and I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna roll with it. I'll be honest with you. I'm doing film. The only person I need to watch left is Darian Beavers. I haven't been able to watch him yet, but I have to watch him. I have his all 22 ready to watch. But everybody else, I don't have valued at their right value. Like except Micah McFadden. I know you're not the biggest fan of Micah McFadden. Josh Azudu, I have as a third
I'm a
round pick.
huge fan of Josh
Huge
Azudu.
guy. We have to talk about this whole draft. We haven't done
Yeah.
that, but um, so real
Wait,
quick.
let me
I'll
get the
say,
super chat. It's going on to like
yeah, go
9
ahead.
minutes old. Shout out
Oh,
to Tudo.
damn, go
Like I
ahead.
said, like a 9 minute old super chat now. Thank you, my man, for another $5. He says Clay, aka Clay Matthews, because Clay Matthews is one of the
Yeah,
trainers
I will
for
be right back.
Tudo's for Tudo's rugby team, the international Italy team, will be with us at the London game wearing the wrong colors. His first experience being among true and passionate diehard Giants fans ever. Tudo, I need you to make a Twitter or an Instagram or something and post a picture of you guys there with Clay Matthews and his what is he going to be in, Packers or Rams colors? That's the real question. Packers, right? Of course, it makes sense. Packers, yeah, we're playing the Packers. I'm gonna need to see a picture of that. And let me get a couple of chats comments here from the chat. I'm fumbling over my words. Hirsch says Wandale reminds me of a McCole Hardman type. I don't know about that one, Chief. I'm gonna have to go back and take a look. Tommy says Robinson is a deep threat and ale. Which Wandale Robinson, deep threat? Yes, I could see that. He has the speed to be a deep threat. I'm not sure what the and ale is about. Matthew Fernandez says Bradberry only has a year left. We're not restructuring him. Yeah, I think we already covered that. You'd have to extend him, and then they'd have to somehow figure out a way to transfer the money from the old contract to the new one. I don't know the semantics of it, but it's just way too complicated. He's gone. Gettleman looks for BPA. Schoen looks for scheme fit. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I agree there. They can extend Bradberry as an option. Hirsch, once again, it would get really complicated. Edward says it should be BPA besides running back. Are you talking about for every draft in general? It should be best player available besides running back. I don't know if I agree with that. There's a couple positions other than running back, like safety. I would throw safety in there. The best player on the board for a good amount of those first round picks was Kyle Hamilton. He didn't go until 14. Let's keep that in mind. Tommy says we're not getting anything for him. Who are we going to switch him out with? Just tear up the contract, rework it. I am not nearly knowledgeable enough to speak on how that contract works and if we could even do that, quote unquote, just basically scrap it and give him a new one. I'm not sure. Cookie says doesn't matter. Just pick the best player in the positions that we need. And that's where the scheme fit conversation comes in mind. If the best player at the position we need is best at another scheme, then it comes down to the coaches. And the general manager, Joe Schoen, is speaking to coaches and saying, do you guys believe that you could develop him for the scheme you're running? Will he succeed there? You know what I'm saying? That comes in, and I feel like that was definitely a conversation had with all of our draft picks here. Let me scroll back down. If you take a franchise QB, Beast, Bully James, that's our best bet, referring, I think, to the tearing up of the contracts. Let me just go down and make sure if there's any legit comments, questions here. Not really. Just kind of talking about the playoffs. And okay then, yeah. And KB is back just in time as well. But let's talk about Josh Azidu. I personally think this man could be our left guard of the future. And we got him in, what was it, the 4th or the 5th round, I think? One out of those two?
Josh Azidu.
Yeah.
3rd round.
Third round? Third. Yeah. I'm mixing up all these picks. We got him with the 3rd round pick?
Our first 3rd round pick.
Our first 3rd round pick, and then Cordell Flott.
Flott, yeah.
Okay, then. But I think Josh Azidu can be our
You're talking about Mark McKeithen. Mark McKeithen was the other North.
He was taken in the 6th, though, right?
Yeah.
He was taken in the 6th.
I like him too. I'm
not as big as a fan as McKeithen as I am as Azidu, but I really think Azidu could I think, listen, day one he's challenging Max Garcia probably. I think he's our best left guard candidate right now. I think he's definitely challenging him. Listen, I like that. And when you look at the offensive line, we brought in total, bro, 9 new offensive linemen in just a span of 2 months. We basically brought in a completely new starting line and depth pieces, and I love it.
Talk about like before we get into Azidu specifically, you look at Joe Schoen and what he did with the offensive line position. I said this on Twitter. I said, if there's one thing I learned about this offseason with the Giants and the new regime is that they prioritize offensive line heavy, free agency and in the draft. Say what you want about the guys they brought in. In free agency, a lot of people aren't in love with the guys they brought in, but they did with the best that they could with the money that they had. And they still brought in Glowinski, who is a good guard. They spent decent money on him, and they were able to get good value on him. John Feliciano, they brought in as a veteran guy. Max Garcia, you said, Matt Gono,
let's list off all of them, bro. Let's list off all of them. Matt Gono, Jamil Douglas, John Feliciano, Max Garcia. There's definitely another free agent one. Glowinski, yes, the best one that we brought in.
Yeah, the best one.
5 from free agency. Then we got 2 of them in the draft. No, 3 of them in the draft. What I'm talking about. Evan Neal, Josh Azidu, and Mark McKeithen.
Mm-hmm.
And then we signed, it was actually a couple, so it's probably more than 9, but we signed a couple of undrafted free agent guys.
They might be camp bodies.
Whatever the case is.
Right.
In a span of 2 months, we bring in basically around 10, maybe 10 plus new offensive linemen. That is incredible, man. That is absolutely incredible. Starting right guard, who I believe is supremely underrated. Starting right tackle, who's going to be a star. Probably, an average, but good, average starting center. And a left guard candidate that in the future, I'm looking, 1, 2, maybe, I'm say 2 years down the line, could be like a legit left guard at the NFL level.
Yeah, I like Azudu a lot, man. The
And it's
fact that
fine.
he
He
was
did,
able to play
you know what's
everywhere.
great? He doesn't even have to be great off the bat because he'll be next to a really, really good, great left tackle and an average center. He'll be in between two veterans. Andrew Thomas is technically a veteran,
Yeah.
and that's fine, bro. If he struggles, he's technically the weakest link. That's fine. You don't need 5 all-stars on the offensive
You
line.
don't. And I love how you brought that up because a lot of people think that in order to have a good offensive line, you have to have all five positions just filled out and be great. Even if you have 4 out of those 5, even if you have 3 good, really good, linemen, wherever you may obviously one of the left tackle would have to be one of those 3 good positions. But if you had 3 good positions out of 5, then you could still have a good offensive line for that. You can go back and uh, I can't even look at them right now. I can't even think of off the top of my head, but you can go back in these some of these offensive lines today and offensive lines that you think are like really good. You think all 5 positions are filled out? No, there's probably like 3, 4 guys that are really good in making up that offensive line. So, I like how you mentioned that. You don't have to have all stars there at the offensive line. You just have to have 4 decent players, right? 3, 4 decent players, and the rest guys just don't suck. Just don't
Hmm.
suck. And Josh Azudu doesn't suck at all. I think he handles himself very, very well, and his versatility really brings on like a David Deal sort of approach to this offensive line. David Deal was a guy drafted in like the 5th round for the Giants, and he was brought everywhere: center, guard, tackle. He was everywhere. Josh Azudu can be a guy like that. When he was drafted, it said guard slash center. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that actually. I
I
know
think I
he played like over 1,000, probably close to 1,500 snaps at guard. His
yeah
next his
was
next
tackle.
position with like the second highest snaps I think was left tackle. Then it was right guard, and then his least was center. So if it did say that, I'm
Yeah, his
surprised.
least was center, so I don't know why they put that, but or maybe I'm reading that wrong when I watched the draft. But Zudu is a really good prospect. Marcus McKeithen, to
Before
me,
we get
he's a
into Marcus
project.
McKeithen,
Oh, go ahead, go
to
ahead.
continue with Izudu, I think Fernandez brought it up in the chat. Yeah, because of his experience at tackles, and this is a common thing that you see when you watch the tape and you read up on him. A lot of people say he has tackle feet at guard, which is very true. He has really, really good feet for an offensive lineman. He's
Yeah, he
pretty
does.
athletic. He's big and strong. Like he has all the athletic traits, and at least on the technical side, he has his feet down. He just needs to get his hand right. And
Yeah, I noticed
listen,
that.
bro, I always look at it as a good thing if somebody that was good at tackles kicked into guard. I feel like maybe it's kind of a weird
You always have
way.
good foot
Yeah, it's
technique
like
as a
I
tackle.
have
Yeah.
confidence in them because they're gonna be kind of in a phone booth, and they're almost
Mhm.
over prepared to be in a phone booth. If that makes any sense,
Yeah, yeah, it
right?
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead. If you got any,
That's why
like any last
that's
thoughts on Azudu before going on to McKeithen.
That's why a lot of tackles like are drafted and they're moved into guard because they just translate a lot better because of their foot technique. Remember, when you're playing tackle, you have to have that side to side quickness to beat the edge rushers. With guard, you don't really need to do that, but you have that skill set just in case. Like Azudu has great side to side quickness. His run blocking is impeccable. I love it. He's an absolute freaking mauler in the run game. He's very smart as well and opens up a lot of lanes. Just knows how to direct traffic. He knows how to take a defender and move him any direction he wants to move him to have that running the runner go through. Um, and so yeah, I like Azudu a lot when it comes to that.
And we look at
So.
Marcus McKeithen, he's just a
Mhm.
large human being. But go ahead, I'm gonna let you handle that one.
Yeah, he's so so Izudu is 6'4", 308. Okay, that's like tackle size, and he's moving into guard. That shows a lot about his strength. That he's like 308, but still playing has great play strength like a guard. But if you look at Marcus McKeithen, this is a big dude. Okay, this is a guy that's 6'6", 340, and his frame doesn't even look like that. You look at
By the way, I just want to point out our biggest mountain of a man on the line is still Evan Neal at 6'7", like 330, 340
yeah,
as well, right?
yeah, and
Like
he's really lean too.
yeah. Evan Neal,
He's
listen, bro.
really
Evan
lean
Neal
too.
is a souped up tight end, bro. You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah,
At least his body, that man is a
yeah,
souped up tight end.
he's really lean too. If you look at Marcus McKeithen, so look at Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is 342, right? Marcus McKeithen is 340. They're 2 pounds off from each other, and Marcus McKeithen looks way more slimmer than Dexter Lawrence does because Marcus McKeithen is really good for his frame. Like if he wanted to add weight, he could. His frame allows him to. He's actually really decent in the passing game, which is weird, right? He has like an 86.2 passing grade, pass blocking grade, which is insane. That's insane. That's good. I think it's like 78.1 passing run blocking grade, which is not as good as Josh Azudu, but that's pretty decent. So they know how to run block over there at UNC, and he's another mountain of a guy. And he's able to move people around as he wants to. He's not as versatile as Azudu, or he's just the right guard. But I like him a lot as a depth guard. If I like him better than Shane Lemieux,
Real
I'll
quick,
tell you
just
that.
because I see Marcus Daniels and Tommy, I'm gonna try and get to some of your comments. I see you put a whole bunch of them in chat. So Marcus Daniels, though, he said he missed the first hour. That's fine. Could Azudu move to center? No, I wouldn't want it to happen.
No,
So
no,
that
no, no.
McKeithen could be the left guard. Nah, bro. Azudu is gonna be your left guard, and that's and if he works out, if he actually develops, he's gonna be great. And like I said, starting off, it's not like he's gonna be terrible. Starting off, I think he could definitely be an average guard at the NFL level. But go ahead if there's anything else you need to say with
Oh
Mark
yeah,
McKeithen.
just to finish off with Marcus McKeithen, I I feel like as a depth guard, I have more confidence in him than Shane Lemieux. I don't like Shane Lemieux at all. I think Shane Lemieux is probably a better run blocker than McKeithen, but McKeithen's more balanced because he's a really good, decent pass blocker as well. And his feet, in UNC, I guess they teach really good foot technique because they both have good feet technique. They're both able to move side to side very well. They're both able to pull in running games, power running games very well. I like the combination of them both. It would be ideal if Marcus McKeithen could be a really good depth guy and Zulu to be the starter. But I have full confidence in those two. As a 6th-round guy that he was drafted. McKeithen was drafted in the 5th round, but it still stands. If he never sees the field as a starter, that's fine with me. But if he's able to, come in on certain plays where they need a run block very well, or one of these guys are hurt or fatigued, I have confidence in McKeithen. I really do. So.
And then let me get to see if I could get to a couple of these comments here from Tommy. You definitely put in a bunch here. Let's get through it. Robinson used to be a running back. He has the juice, real shifty, gets separation every play. He's a deep threat, one of the best come out of college. I agree with that. Definitely our trenches are a group with a lot of talent. It's about to be real in a minute. Wink will have them balling. I also agree with that there. And that's on both sides. I like what we did for the trenches on both sides.
Is looking scary,
Yeah,
bro.
I want to talk about DJ Davidson next. But let's wrap this couple comments. Pert is out the door. One of those UNC kids taking over. Well, if one of them kicks out the tackle, I guess. I think you should say Shane Lemieux is probably out the door. Matt Pert, and both of them. I'm glad we're at a point right now where a comment I made a couple months ago came true, and that is if we can make Matt Pert and Shane Lemieux legit depth pieces for us, that means we improve the offensive line tremendously.
Yeah.
And we're going to be sitting pretty, and that's exactly where we're sitting right now.
I smile.
Matt Pert is depth. Shane Lemieux is depth. We have. I don't think people realize we have a good offensive line right now, and I'm going to stand on it. I know I usually say
best
on
offensive
paper
line we've had since our Super Bowl run.
I'm like I know I'm usually like conservative with my takes. I usually say on paper, and we gotta wait for it. But no, this is something I'm standing on.
Yeah,
we have a good offensive line, and that's starters and depth. That's kind of crazy.
Let me tell you. Remember the 3 guys I mentioned that you only pretty much need 3 guys to be really good for you to have a good offensive line. Andrew Thomas, I think, is proven. I know a lot of people say
Andrew Thomas is the best young left tackle in the league. I don't want to hear it.
That's my boy. He's gonna have a Laramie Tunsil sort of like uprising. So, Andrew Thomas is my guy. He's great. Evan Neal is going to be
bookend.
I keep smiling at the thought of Evan Neal wearing giant. Like I was watching the same exact film I watched of Evan Neal, but when he was a prospect, when he was my first guy I scouted in this draft process, and I'm like, damn, it would be awesome if he was a giant. And I keep thinking about that now. I'm like, damn, he's a freaking giant with the guy from Oregon. Mm-hmm. This is freaking crazy. But you got Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal as your 2 bookend tackles. Like you mentioned. And you just need like one more guy. Glowinski's really good. Glowinski's a really good guard.
People, once again, he's super underrated. Glowinski is a top 20 right guard. No, top 20 guard in the NFL, not right guard, just guard in general.
And he's like, I think he was rated like the 16th best by PFF now. I trust PFF when it comes to the trenches. I do. When it comes to offensive linemen, I trust them. I don't trust them when it comes to other stuff. But I like their takes on. I trust what they say about offensive linemen. But those are your 3 good guys. And then Feliciano's no slouch. I mean, he's a good.
Like I said, I see him as an average center.
Guards.
And if he could be an average center, then that's good enough.
He used to be one of the better guards in the NFL. When he was with the Raiders, he was actually one of the best guards in the NFL, and then obviously Father Time takes over, and with you get older, but um him coming in at center, I think is gonna be fine, and then we just have to worry about left guard, and we filled that with the Zudu. I'm not gonna say Zudu is gonna be some great third round
But
pick
like I
dude,
said
but
earlier,
he is there.
even if he's bad, it's fine because I feel like the other 4 positions are filled in.
Yeah, exactly. Is Billy Price still on the roster? I don't care if he is or not. He's
Bro,
not
I
going
don't
to see the
even know. I
field.
doubt it.
I don't know, and I don't
I don't
care.
know.
I
I
can't believe. Oh, I can't believe
we
we
gave up
traded
BJ Hill
Oh
for
my
Billy
god.
Price, bro. Yo, Gettleman is he's a war criminal, bro.
Yeah,
He's a
he should
war
be put in
criminal.
jail.
He
Why
should
did
be
we? Why
he
did
should
me
be
and you
at
defend him for so
Guantanamo
long?
Bay, bro.
Why did me and you defend him for so long, man? Why did we do
Because
that?
listen, we were blinded, but also not to completely, even though he kind of deserves
His
it, not to
draft didn't
completely mess on him.
suck, but
Bro, he hit on his first round picks. I don't care what anybody says,
yeah.
man. He hit on the first and second round, bro.
Mhm.
But no, at the end of the day, this man destroyed us. Absolutely destroyed us. Let me see if there's any comments to get to before we get to DJ Davidson, man. Oh, man. Because speaking of DJ Davidson, the reason I like that pick is because BJ Hill is no longer here. If BJ Hill was still there, we don't need to draft DJ Davidson, man. I'm just put that out there.
Facts.
Super Colite says Robinson reminds me of a slightly smaller Steve Smith Jr. Toughness wise, I can see it, but I never really watched Steve Smith that much when he was playing,
I
so I
don't
can't
think he.
say.
No, I don't. I think it was authentic that said that he reminds me of Steve Smith Senior. I don't see it at all. Steve Smith was an outside guy. Well, he had played outside and inside, and Steve Smith was a route running like machine. Like he knew how to run routes. Wandale Robinson still learning that. Can he get there? Yes. As far as the toughness goes, and for his size, they met. It's kind of the same. I don't think Steve Smith was in the 170s. Uh, Wandale is 5'8", 178. I don't see that at all. I see Jalen Waddle in Wandale Robinson. I see a Jalen Waddle. I see a bit of Kadarius Toney as far as his run after the catch ability, his yards after the catch ability. But I really see Waddle in Wandale Robinson. So Robinson is still raw in his receiver, at the receiver position. He's still learning it, just like Kadarius Toney was. But he plays tough. He plays strong. And he's a decent route runner, not the best. His releases are great. I love his releases. Somebody ban that freaking chat, please. Thank you, Edward Chen. But yeah, as far as Wandale goes, I mean, I see him more as a Waddle, more of a finesse guy, more a tough finesse guy. Because Waddle was pretty tough too, but not Wandale shows it a lot more. But I don't see Steve Smith. I don't see Steve Smith and Wandale. Steve Smith was another dude. I don't even think Steve Smith played this. I could be wrong. He probably did play the slot because of his size. But Steve Smith was a route runner. I know that for sure. Steve Smith was a route god. So I'm not gonna. I don't think. I can't see Wandale being compared to Steve Smith.
All right, let me scroll down. I low-key lost my track in the comments here, and then thank you for taking care of that because I was tweeting, and then thank you for handling that, and shout out to Edward. So, and then the next comment says, it was basically we have one of the most athletic duos at the tackle position. I agree. Listen, Giants fans, to get you even more excited, we have the best young edge rushing duo in the NFL, in my opinion, and we have the best young tackle duo in the NFL. Argue with me if you got somebody that could match that. All right, and then let me go down. Shout out to Floyd Samuels. I see you in here, man. Tommy says that Gettleman thought we were going into playoffs, so he brought in more revenue, and he said no, we're going over the water to watch them. Hold up, Tommy, I'm confused by that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then let me scroll down all the way.
Confused by that one.
I'm kind of confused by that one. That's about it. So yeah, let's talk about DJ Davidson, man. I love the DJ Davidson's pick. They've heard me say it a lot, so I'm gonna keep mine short. It's really you, because if it was on your channel, they would have probably heard you say it a lot, and that would be on me. But basically, we needed defensive tackle depth. I thought it was one of our most underrated needs. They filled it in. Davidson is kind of a really big guy at his size. I like what he does. He fits exactly what we need, which is a nose tackle. All we needed, and I was going to be happy if we got it at defensive tackle depth, was just somebody to be there that could stuff gaps, that could take up space in gaps and just stop the run. That's exactly what he does.
A 5th round pick, yeah.
That's exactly what he does. I'm not expecting no pass rush ability out of him, and he doesn't have it, by the way, so I'm not expecting
it. He doesn't have it, no.
But he's literally just there to be a body up the middle and do it effectively. And plus, historically, no matter the regime, no matter the coaches, bro, The Giants
We
always
hit.
develop defensive tackles. All right,
We hit on
we
D tackles.
always develop defensive
Yeah.
tackles. But go ahead, KB, take it away. Let me get your thoughts
Yeah,
on
as
DJ
far as
Davidson.
DJ Davidson goes, I'm probably not in love with him as much as probably you are, but I could see the value is there, right? The value. He's a 5th round pick. Do I care if we if we miss on a 5th round pick? Not really, but I do care if he fills in a role, like a specific role, and he actually does well at it. I look at DJ Davidson. I don't know the defensive tackle. Who was there at defensive tackle and who could have been picked better. So I couldn't tell anybody that for sure if there was any better defensive tackles on the board, right? Our boy Haskell Garrett actually went undrafted. So that
Yeah,
shows
I was
something.
a really big fan of Haskell Garrett.
Yeah. But DJ Davidson, 6'3", 327 out of Arizona State. Had a lot of good production over there. He had a breakout year, 57 tackles, six and a half tackles for loss, and 4 passes defense. He's a guy that who does that remind me of? Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence does that. He, bats the ball down from the interior. Like he's able to, not only recognize when the quarterback is throwing the ball, but actually get his hands where he needs to be and bat the ball down. 4 passes defense at a defense as a nose tackle is pretty damn cool to me, So, and someone said he reminds me of Danny Shelton. Yeah, he does kind of remind me of Danny Shelton a
You
little
better
bit.
mean early career Danny Shelton, not the
Early
Danny
career,
Shelton
yeah,
we just
the
got.
first round pick, Danny Shelton, yeah. But yeah, I said he could rotate a nose tackle. Great athletic frame for his size. He's 327, and he can move around a little bit. He's not a fast dude by any stretch of the imagination, but he can move inside the trenches and get like he has the ability to use his power and whatever speed that he has and like momentum to get past the guard and make a tackle for loss. There's a lot of defensive tackles that just wait for the running back to get to them and then stuff them at that point. But he has a decent sort of sense of speed and power to make a push on that offensive line and get to the running back. So I like that a lot.
And listen, bro,
Um,
I really like him for what
uh-huh.
he is. I like him for a 5th round pick, but I also like him because, like I said, the developmental side we're looking at, where we could both agree we always develop defensive tackles. I'm even more confident in that because I still think David Moa, who I think is your guy, I still think David Moa is
Boise
going to be
State.
our starting nose tackle, which is fine. But like, let DJ develop, bro. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things I like about this pick, and not even as you've noticed, not all of them necessarily has to do with the player.
Yeah, I like Davidson a lot. I think like you said, Davidson could wind up starting soon. Who knows? Justin Ellis is okay, right? I keep getting him mixed up with Kendrick Ellis, the other defensive tackle we had a
Speaking
couple
of
years
Ellis, by
ago.
the way, we did sign of our undrafted free agents 2 other defensive linemen who I'm sure are gonna bring competition. I'm once again glad we're actually spending capital on there. One of them is
Antonio.
Jabari
Okay.
Ellis out of South Carolina, and the other one is
Uh-huh.
Christopher Hinton out of Michigan. I saw somebody in the chat say keep an eye on Christopher Hinton, so I'll definitely be doing that
Into
then.
the defensive tackle?
Yeah,
I thought. What about the Antonio Valentine guy? He's a defensive tackle.
Antonio Valenti. I'm looking at this tracker.
Antonio something.
I so far no
Yeah, yeah.
Antonio on this
From
list.
from Florida. From Florida.
There
Uh,
was a Tyrone Truesdale from Florida, also a defensive
no.
tackle that we got.
Valentino or something like that. I think it's Antonio Valentino. He was signed to the Giants. Uh, yeah, he signed with the Giants. Former Penn State defensive lineman Antonio Valentino signed to
Where
your
can I find a
undrafted free
updated
agent.
list then? Like where is there a list tracker?
I feel like let me see if there is the Giants undrafted free. They got a lot of guys in there, but they got a lot of camp
Yes, I see it.
tryouts too.
I found G-Man HQ. Shout out to the guys at G-Man HQ. There's an updated
Yeah,
list here. There's a lot of people. Okay, yeah, I see it. Bam.
yeah. I think Hinton was an edge rusher. No, I thought Hinton
Hinton.
was an edge
On the
rusher.
last list I was looking at, he was listed at defensive line. Let me see. I'm trying to find his name here. In the meantime,
Yeah.
I'll continue
Anyway.
with your
Yeah, but any one of those guys can wind up starting. I don't see any of those guys really. Is Danny Shelton still on this roster?
No, definitely not. There's no
Yeah,
way.
no. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I
Christopher
don't
Hinton
think it.
listed at defensive tackle on this list too.
Okay. Okay. So, I haven't watched Hinton, but a lot of people are saying that he could be a sleeper to make the roster. So, hey, there's nobody. I want DJ Davidson obviously to make the roster because we drafted him, right? But there's nobody I'm really attached to. But I like David Moa because he's my guy, Boise State Bronco. Okay, Boise State Bronco. He played on both sides of the ball in Boise State. But Yeah, I like DJ Davidson. It might be a while before he develops. He might not get to start this year, but I like him as a rotational nose tackle. So, and a lot of people keep saying put Dexter at nose tackle, and I'm so glad the Giants took the
Bro,
approach of not doing that.
you've heard
Right?
my take on it. Yeah, I'm
Keep
glad.
him keep him
He
at
is
3 tech.
such a mismatch at 3 tech. Guys, do you
Yeah.
realize this man got double teamed way more than people realize, and he got held every single game. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. He got held every single game. The reason it wasn't called, this is
He
not a
was
surprise.
we pointed it out so many
Every
times
single
when we
game
used
we
to
were
call the
calling, we're like, oh,
games.
look, there's Dexter Lawrence getting held again. The ref's not calling it. And this is just the fact of the matter of every single sport in the entire world. You get those calls when you start winning games. And you get those calls when you're kind of a superstar at your position. Dexter he's not a superstar at his position. I think he's
He's
really
good
good.
though.
And obviously, we are not a winning team, so we were not getting those calls. But Dexter Lawrence at the 3 tech is a complete mismatch, and I like that they're keeping him there because it's going to be an asset when you got Tibbs and Aziz coming off the edge, and they're going to have to actually pay attention to those guys and maybe take away an extra guy that was at Dexter Lawrence. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I was very relieved when the Giants finally took a nose tackle because I was really starting to get worried because we have such a huge hole at nose tackle. I was really starting to get worried. Were they going to try to put Dexter Lawrence at nose tackle? Although that's his natural position,
yeah, that
it
would be
is,
fine. He has the
but
size for it.
but he developed such a pass rush as a defensive tackle that he's like a not a pass rushing defensive
He's a
tackle, but he
legit
can get
pocket
there,
pusher, is what
man.
I call him.
He's
He's a
a
legit
pocket put.
pocket pusher.
He moves that interior. Like he has interior pass rush in there, and he does a good job at that. He consistently gets like what 2.5 sacks, 3 sacks a year. So he needs to stay at 3 tech because he's that mismatch. If you put Dexter Lawrence back at nose tackle, his natural position, he goes from a mismatch, really good defensive tackle to
That
a
teams literally have to
just a nose
hold.
tackle to
Yeah, to
just a
being
nose
just a nose
tackle.
tackle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So I
plus at just a nose tackle, he's not going to be on the field that much. I hope people realize he's on the field
right.
more when he's a 3 tech.
Right, exactly. So, I love Dexter Lawrence, man. I do. So, hopefully, he's one of the guys we keep around. I mean, we have a lot of casters next season, So,
I want us to extend him so bad. I'm glad that we gave him the 5th-year option. We'll see how it plays out. Part of me has a really bad feeling in my gut that we're not going to keep him. Part of the reason being that maybe they view him as a Gettleman guy, but the other one, I still don't like what he said during the minicamp interviews where he was like he doesn't feel like he's in his best position. I know that could be seen as being truthful, but if I'm a player,
honestly,
I'm never saying that, bro.
but check this out. Honestly, I'm least worried about it because at defensive tackle, you gotta be big, and you know what I'm saying. So I'm not
He's
worried about
already a big
him.
dude, bro.
Right, but I'm not worried about him as much being like unathletic or unfit right now, rather than like a cornerback saying that he's unfit. You know what I'm saying? Or like a freaking receiver or running back, like freaking Eddie Lacy out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a little bit okay with Dexter Lawrence saying that he's not quite ready there because he's Dexter Lawrence, he's a big dude. So,
hmm
um, yeah, and with that 5th-year option, we keep him for next year too. So he's at least gonna be a Giant until 2020, the beginning of 2024.
hmm
So you know we got him until then.
And then in terms of the draft, is there anybody else? I know we didn't speak about everybody, but I feel like we hit the most impactful players. Yeah, if you want to give your thoughts on Darian Beavers, actually go ahead. I think this would be a nice time.
I'm not gonna lie. I know he's more of the athletic tight ends. I haven't worked on him yet. I'm actually gonna start working on him tonight. As he's my last guy I have to work on before I do the film, like the breakdown for all my draft picks. Because man, we gotta stop. We gotta stop drafting like 10, 11 players every year, man. This is real. This is a lot of work to put into. I want to make my undrafted free agent video already, but I can't do that unless I make the drafted video with the drafted players. I'm like doing research on 11 freaking prospects here. Can we just be a team that gets 5 guys a year and just like they all hit? Damn. But yeah,
By the way,
I'm
you said undrafted free agents. This list is super long, bro.
yeah, they
You
got a lot of them,
yeah.
man.
I'm gonna because it's gonna take me time to count. Continue, and I'm just gonna say a number when I finish
Yeah,
counting.
go ahead. Go ahead. But a guy that I know that you would want to talk about because I hear you talking about him on Twitter, a guy that I like a lot, not as like a gonna be a star player, but a really good role player is Daniel
23,
Bellinger. 23
23
I can't
undrafted
make it.
free,
See,
bro.
I usually make a video every year
How am I
about like
gonna
their
cover
film
23
breakdown.
guys?
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm just gonna list them and talk about my favorite ones because
Jesus
there's
Christ.
no way I'm not because I usually make a highlight reel and talk about the each undrafted. That's a lot of people love I started making those videos like 4 years ago. I just do a huge freaking compilation of all the freaking undrafted free agents, say which ones I like, and I go over all of them. I'm not doing 23
Bro,
guys.
I
I'm
feel like
not
I feel
doing
like you
23
should just
guys.
do it in parts, bro. Just do it in parts, because like you said, people do watch it. Just do it in parts. Do like a 2-parter, 3-parter, 3-parter
Yeah,
probably actually, since it's
yeah,
23.
3-part. 23 guys. What?
Yeah,
All
that's a
right,
lot. But
but
yeah,
yeah,
Dan Bellinger. Listen, bro,
yeah, go ahead.
I legitimately believe that Daniel Bellinger was one of the best tight ends in the draft. I know that on our streams we didn't talk about him much. Uh, but I
He's
look
a
at him,
sleeper.
he was a sleeper guy, yeah. He was one of the best blocking tight ends in the draft, and thank God we got somebody kind of in the role that I was looking for, which is an all-around guy. He's a good receiving tight end, and he's a really good blocking tight end. We finally got somebody that could actually do it all that's required at that position. Uh, and I legitimately believe he's our starting tight end. I don't know if Ricky Seals-Jones is way better than I expect and he's going to pose some competition, but I'm looking at Dan Bellinger as tight end number 1 right now. And in this system, he's literally, it's funny. He looks like a Dawson Knox 2.0. And guess what? That's a great fit for us. He's going to work out just
It
fine for
is.
us if that's what the case is.
It is. His film doesn't jump out to me, but I can see the potential for him. He's a fantastic run blocker. As far as a receiving threat, he's sure-handed, does not drop the ball, always catches the ball. I'm not big on him on his game speed. I know he ran a 4.63, which is actually pretty damn fast for a run blocking tight end.
He's a tight, like, bro,
But
let's get something
yeah,
established, bro.
yeah, he's a
Because
zone
some
finder
Giants
too.
fans are
So.
stuck on the tight end mold that we had for the majority of the
Right,
past 4 or
right.
5
Evan
years.
Ingram and now
Listen,
Ricky
bro,
Seals-Jones and yeah.
having an Evan Ingram type tight end in your offense is a luxury. Okay? It's not a necessity.
Right.
That guy is gonna flourish somewhere where he is not the number 1 receiver, and he's like a cherry on top of a cake that is a great offense.
Mm-hmm.
The tight end that
Yeah,
you need is the one that we got now, which is
yeah.
another reason I love it so much.
I like him. Were there better tight ends available? Yes, there were. I'm not going to keep talking about Jalen Weidemeyer because he went undrafted, so that's a shame. But, um, there are plenty of other tight ends there, so we'll see what happens. But I really like his run blocking ability. He's probably one of the better run blocking tight ends in this draft. And as a receiving threat, I feel like San Diego State should have used him more as a receiver, as a receiving option. They didn't throw the ball to him a lot, and I feel like they should have because I think his size and his I guess his catch radius is large. He catches anything. He really does. So I feel like they could definitely use him more in the red zone. I feel like the Giants should definitely do that. Use him more in the red zone. But yeah,
Speaking, I see Marjorie brought it up, not Jeremiah Hall, but
just Sean
Austin Allen.
Corbin.
And that's so I thought
Austin Allen.
Austin Allen, the undrafted tight end that we signed. Talking about a red zone threat, that man is 6'9", bro. You don't they don't take a genius to be like get a couple shifts in there, just get him 1-on-1 and toss the ball up to him in the red zone,
LeBron
bro.
James.
Who is jumping above him at
Oh, man.
6'9"?
I know, and you gotta
That's
look at his wingspan.
crazy.
Yeah, as a 6'9" player, his wingspan must be even insane, more insane. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, bro. So that's that quick undrafted free agent thing. But with Daniel Bellinger, guys, listen, I know I'm a big fan of him. Guys, you're gonna need to help me out with something because I tried to get Victor Cruz on the show a couple weeks back. It didn't work out, but there was a lot of support for it. It was one of my most liked tweets. It also got a lot of like on Instagram. I'm gonna try my best and try and get Dan Bellinger here, man, because that's how much I believe in the guy. And if we could get enough likes that it gets his attention and his agent's attention, um, listen, bro, I think this is something we can make happen, guys. So if you see
Yeah.
me posting about Dan Bellinger, on Instagram, on Twitter, and even here on the community notes, just make sure you like it, you hit the like button, you share it out, and you comment. Like, yeah, bro, definitely come on. We want to hear about your draft experience. We want to hear about how you prepared for the draft, how you were at college, your thoughts on that, coming to the
Yeah.
Giants and all that. I feel like this is something that we could realistically accomplish. It's not like I'm trying to get
Right.
Evan Neal, even though that would be amazing, or Kayvon Thibodeau, but, trying to get Dan Bellinger on here.
And we're working our way up there, guys. And if you guys remember, like last year, 2 years ago, we had a undrafted free agent come on to the channel, and one that I cannot remember his name. I forgot. It's a complicated name, but I remember we had him last year, 2 years ago. So we've done it before on the channel, guys. Let's try to do it again with more notable guys. And Daniel Bellinger would be great. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Let's see. Thank you, Unlimited Liquid. I appreciate that. Is there any other player? You say you didn't really have a chance to look at Darian Beavers. Do you know anything about any of the 23 undrafted free agents that you may want to address?
I know Marjorie was talking about Deshaun Corbin. I heard about him and I watched him as well. I've seen a lot of him. I think he's a really good running back. He's a guy that could be a sleeper to make the roster as a depth piece. But he adds another element to this roster because we don't really have like a smaller, speedier guy like Deshaun Corbin, and he might add a little bit of a diversity to to that running back room. So I don't know, maybe he's a guy to crack the roster.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as far as the other undrafted guys, I haven't looked at any of them yet. But I know the list is insane because every time I open on Twitter, there's another guy being signed.
So yeah, I mean, guys, this is your time to toss in any last questions you might have. We're actually already 10 minutes over the usual hour and a half, but go ahead. Let's hear it if there's any last questions. I'm gonna look towards ending it out here. I just saw a picture come up on my Twitter page, just the size of Jordan Davis. I'm so sad he went to the Eagles because that man is a monster, 6'6", 340. Jesus, man.
Yeah,
I hope he busts. All right, pause.
yeah.
But I hope that happens. That's all I hope. And the Eagles, they got AJ Brown. They better not get. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I love hyping up the Giants, and I do think there's a lot to be hype about. But looking at the NFC East as of right now, May 4th, May the 4th be with y'all. I know today was Star Wars Day or something. Um, yeah, the Eagles are probably the favorites to win the division with good reason. With good reason. All right. But hey, if something breaks right, we stay uninjured, our players develop. Why not? Why not? Any last thoughts, Kate, before we go out? And real quick, also with the May the 4th thing, I like Star Wars. I don't know if I consider myself a Star Wars fan, but I've seen all 6 of the movies, the prequels and the originals. But man, Star Wars fans are some of the most insufferable people on earth. I just wanted to put that out there. Go ahead, KB.
Damn. Um, why is that? Why do you say that, man?
Bro, just I'm not about to get into that, bro. Bro, listen, bro. They're like you see them everywhere and they try to shove their fandom and their love for their thing, which I appreciate. It's great to have that down your throat. And then it's
Right.
like as a newcomer, which I was, is getting the slightest thing wrong, they're gonna kill you for. It's like,
I
bro, this
know.
is not
I
necessary.
know.
Y'all are not all that, bro. Star Wars is great. It's not even the best galactic thing out there. Let's move on. Go ahead. Let me get your last thoughts.
But yeah, as far as it goes, listen, I have a lot of questions about this draft class. To be very vague, I have a lot of questions about this draft class. I'm not setting anything in stone. I'm not judging too quickly. I'm not making assumptions. Even with Cordell Flott, he's probably my least favorite draft pick in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna reserve all those thoughts until at least next season and see how they have their rookie season and how they use these players. Because then we don't even know how we're gonna, besides like Daniel Bellinger and Josh Azudu, we know how these guys are gonna be used. There's some other guys that we don't know how they're gonna be used. So I'm gonna reserve my thoughts for that. But as far as this draft goes, I think we hit. We definitely hit with the first two. I mean, I don't see how we can go any wrong. Crossing my fingers. But I don't know how we can go wrong with that. But I'm excited about that. When Chris Pettit, very excited that we let go of him and we're starting anew as far as the scouting department goes. Oh, you guys can see my freaking gray hair, man.
And real quick, this is what I'm saying. Mike B, listen. I'm not about to hop on you and like roast you or anything, but I didn't say they weren't on the greatest movies. I said there's better, there's better media, I guess is probably how I should have phrased it in terms of when it comes to galactic things. So just outside of movies as well, right? But that's what I'm talking about, bro. They coming at like, go ahead, KB, finish this off, bro.
Oh man, it's about to turn to a Star
I
Wars
love you
rant.
though, Mike B. You a great supporter, man.
But yeah, we'll see how. So, okay, Mike Pettit, we're happy that we got new scouting department in here. Draft class was good. The James Bradberry thing is unfortunate. We're not able to trade him for even pennies at this point. But I guess we're gonna save $10 million in cap, so that's good. And that's it. Cookie Monster says, Kid Blue, relax. At least you have hair. No, I will not relax because I have gray hairs all over my head. They're everywhere. The top of my head, the side of my head. I don't know about the back of my head, but I'm getting grays already. I'm only 24, man. I don't want to be salt and pepper by the time I'm 30. I don't want that.
Hmm.
But he said Cookie Monster said Jaff grade C minus. I want to
I
give it
think
a
that's a
C
bit
minus.
low.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B plus. I can't give it an A. A lot of people are giving it A's. Even even guys in and even guys in mainstream keep ranking the Giants as like an A minus draft grade. That's fine with me. That's fine with me. But I have it like a B plus, the draft grade for the Giants. B plus.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Actually, I'm surprised you gave it that high of a grade, considering how not that you trash,
Yeah.
but like we were kind of going back and forth about how we agree some stuff is kind of a reach. But I'm also right there. I don't know if I'd give it a B plus. Might be a lower. I think I might be at a solid B. And then if I'm like, you know what, potential and whatnot, maybe they get that plus. But you guys
Yeah.
don't realize how much that first round is so important. And
That's
I'm
why
not
I
even
give
saying
it
it
a B
as like it's a
plus.
carry job. It's just like, yo, these guys are probably going to be here for the next 10 to 15 years or as two of our best players.
Because, like, think of it like this: out of the 11 picks that we had, if Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal actually reach their potential, who the hell cares about the rest of the people in this
Yep.
draft? Who
Yep.
cares? That's why I'm giving it such a high grade, but I can't give it an A minus. I can't put it in the A's yet because all those other guys are question marks. But if those two hit, that dude, who the hell cares about the rest of the 9 players drafted? I don't
Hmm.
care. If those are the biggest needs that we had, and if those guys develop, man, be great.
But yeah, guys, that's going to be it. I'm going to end it out for here. Thank you guys so much for showing up. We had at 1.72 people live watching. Right now we're around 60. Once again, the show is not possible without you all. And, having, even aspirations of getting a Giants player like Dan Bellinger on here, newly minted Giants, is not even possible unless I don't have y'all support. So thank you for that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Ian, Cookie Monster, Mike, Edward, Lucas, Marjorie, Floyd Samuels, Hirsch for real, Tommy, Jon Snow, everybody in here, man, that was participating as well. You guys keep it fresh. You keep the conversation going. That's going to be it for now. I shall see you guys tomorrow, hopefully with a video if I got time. The next stream actually is not going to be until next Tuesday unless something pops up and I do an emergency stream on Sunday. But next stream, looking forward to you guys, would be Tuesday. That's set in stone. I do have a Twitch stream coming up. I want to say Friday night is a Twitch. Actually, no, I take that back. Friday, I'm probably going to see Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So I take that
have to
back.
see that. Yes,
Yeah,
I gotta see
I
that.
take that back. But yeah, KB, anything else? Anything to plug? And then we're gonna end it out.
I'm gonna be making some more. I have some good videos coming out soon. I got this draft class video I'm gonna make. I usually, make a draft class video right after the draft, but I want to do my research on all 11 of these guys. Like I said, the Giants need to stop drafting freaking 11 people at a time so I can actually do these a lot faster. But I'm gonna be coming out with that, and of course, the undrafted free agent thing I do every year. We're gonna see about that because they have 23 freaking dudes and a lot of guys coming on camp visits as well. So there's that. And I don't really know what else kind of content I'm doing besides like Giants news stuff right now. So, yeah.
So yeah, guys, that's it. I know KB's hearing some stuff in the background. That's fine. You guys can't hear it. The power of controlling audio. That's it for now.
Streamlabs.
And we're out. Peace.